secrets in sight, whispers of electric delight, forbidden truths burning bright. Digital veins fall through the void, files and lies covered me toy. Addiction is his only guide through the worlds where secrets hide. Digital veins fall through the void, files and lies covertly toy. Addiction is his only guide through the worlds where secrets hide. Streaming through digital night, Russell howls at cyber sights, exploring the forbidden light through the worlds where secrets hide. Vito preaches echo in his soul, encrypted whispers take their toll. Zeros, ones, they dig a hole in the shadows where he strolls. That guitar breaks through where souls crackling, feel the flare. The tales of rust will dare to expose what isn't fair. Electric dreams within his grasp, future's flaw he must unmask. Through the code he makes his path, unravel secrets aftermath. Russell howls at cyber sights, exploring depths forbidden bright. Couldn't stop even if he might. Data breaches echo in his soul, encrypted whispers take their toll. Encrypted whispers take their toll, and stop even if he might. Data breaches, digital night, Russell howls at cyber sights, exploring depths forbidden bright. In the shadows where he strolls.
Oh my heavens. Such an intense song. God damn it. Welcome back, everybody. Another episode, podcast of the stream. This episode, Mr. GALENTV's joining us. Sir, how are you? Are you there?
Oh, I'm doing fairly well.
Welcome.
How are you this fine Sunday evening?
Wonderful. For people here in Canada, this is our Thanksgiving. So to everybody who's giving thanks, God bless. There you go. I already had quite a few glasses of wine, so I'm trying to now sober up with this tea.
Technically, the Thanksgiving is tomorrow, but
technically today some people celebrate.
Nobody celebrates it on Monday.
No, that's the day of betas. Yeah,
it's just the day off. It's always on a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, how have you been, sir? You didn't have your Thanksgiving this weekend, you're saying, but
no, but it'll probably come up soon.
Yeah.
Well, folks out of town and whatnot, so.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Better late than never. This evening, welcome everybody. Welcome Rabbit, Shadows, everyone else who might be tuning in or might watch this VOD, tune in. This evening, we're going to be keeping the theme with October and spooky things and Halloween and my favorite time of year, honestly, fall. With spooky stories still. Stories in general, but mostly spooky stories, GALENTV. It's kind of the theme, I guess. Most of them are kind of spooky.
Well, I mean, they're all spooky. Every story that we go through goes through some of the, now, what's happening here? Is this story made up? And if it isn't made up, how can you explain it? What's to explain there? There's been a couple where we've been just like, okay, well, this is very clearly this. But there's been a couple out there where you go like, now what if? What's going on here?
Makes you wonder. It makes us wonder.
Really. As one might say, activates those almonds, if you will.
It's yes. Yes, it is Canada's Thanksgiving. This weekend, we'll say. Shadows, yeah. I don't know why it's earlier. Why is it earlier in the States?
I don't know, but I know the United States one, it's always on a Thursday. And that's because you may have heard of the Black Friday as being the biggest shopping day. So it's not really a holiday, it's more of a, I guess a day that became statistically significant. And that's because what happened was a lot of a bunch of nerds got together, and they found out that was the day that most people did their Christmas shopping, because the United States, the American Thanksgiving is towards the end of November. So
Yes.
just as you're going into December. So a
Yes.
lot of people would start to do their Christmas shopping as you move on from the holiday of Thanksgiving. You go on to Christmas. And a lot of people would do their shopping that day after, because a lot of people would take that day off work too. So what happened then is a lot of
Chad, God bless.
business started to go, okay, well, you know what, maybe we'll
Yeah.
have these sales going on. And then as
Yeah.
the rise of social media and whatnot came about, it just became more popularized. I mean, I'm sure maybe at one point, I'm sure everybody at one point, maybe unless you're just finding out about this now, has looked at the Black Friday, like scandals or what have you at like Walmart and whatnot,
Yeah.
where it's just a free for all
I
is what it appears to look like now.
I cannot describe how much I hate Walmart. And, thank you, Shadows. Yes, and to you when your day comes next month. But yeah, it's it is.
I
Just
can't say that I've
days.
ever seen that madness here, but then again, I've never really like shopped it like early in the day on like Black Friday.
Boxing Day here was always crazier. I remember lining up.
Yeah, Boxing Day is nuts.
One time, a buddy of mine and me decided to do the whole Boxing Day insanity. And the stupid thing was we didn't even really have anything in mind that we wanted. I just wanted a pair of new gym headphones. So we waited outside of it. It was called a Future Shop back then. It's called Best Buy now.
Future Shop, yeah.
We lined up. Yeah. We lined up at like 3 a.m. We got in line at 3 a.m. at this line. And we were there. They didn't open until like 8 or 9. Something stupid like that. And I was just, it became insanity. Around like 4 or 5 a.m., it was nuts. I'll never forget that. The radio came, and our local radio station came and interviewed everybody. And yeah.
What year was this that you did this?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. 2011, maybe?
Yeah, that was, I don't think I ever did the Boxing Day one, but that was kind of around the time where some of these companies started to do like these like midnight releases for stuff. So
Yes.
movies would often release at like midnight on, well, I guess it'd be Friday at like 12:01. That a lot of the movies that were scheduled to release on the Friday would release that day. And then there were some days that were like some video games would also.
Yeah, I remember the Call of Duty releases were insane. For the first Black Ops was big. I think Call of Duty 3 was big too. I'm trying to remember. I kind of stopped playing by that point. I played Modern Warfare 2, and then I give up after that. But yeah, no, so just to respond to HFX Pins. I've never worked in retail. Have you worked in retail, GALENTV?
I have not worked in retail.
No.
And I have no desire to work in retail.
No, yeah, you did the whole Best Buy thing. Yeah. I never did. I worked at a grocery store, but I got fired from that. So, yeah.
I remember I think this was, which one was this? I think this was the day Skyrim released.
Oh.
And it was either Skyrim or maybe it was a couple years after for Grand Theft Auto 5. I didn't really play I didn't even buy Grand Theft Auto 5. I just went with friends just to be a go-with guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember, like, you could see across the street, like, you could see, like, a couple people, because the EB Games where we were was across the parking lot from the it might have been Best Buy at that point, but it might have still been Future Shop at that point. And you could see, like, the short lineup for, like, Call of Duty, and there were, like, 5 or 6 people that were there, and then, like, just the lineup. I think it must have been Skyrim at the time. I think was like around the building.
Yeah, I was there from the Skyrim launch. 12 to 15 hour days. And Rabbit, absolutely, brother. Fuck. Listen, it's a holiday here, so you might as well. Yeah, I remember. Because well, you know, Galen, I grew up with Morrowind and Oblivion, and I was so excited for Skyrim. I got it for my PS4 at the time. I think it was a PS4. It would have been PS4. I think it just launched. Wasn't it PS4 in 2011? I think it was, wasn't it? You know what? It might have been a PS3.
Might have been PS3 because I don't think Xbox One was out because I think the like 360 was one of the longest running like consoles. It wasn't the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was like the creme de creme of having titles for it.
It would have been the PS3. Jesus. I've owned Skyrim on the PS3. I've owned Skyrim on the regular like Xbox 360. I've owned Skyrim on the PS4. I've owned 2 versions of Skyrim on the PS4. I got the other Xbox, where the fuck it was called. I got it for that. I got it for my laptop twice. I got it for my old desktop, and I bought it 3 times on this desktop.
Good Lord, Bethesda's got money out of you.
Todd has literally fucking wrung me out, sucked me dry. Hendrix, what's up? Anyway, I just re-downloaded Skyrim. Actually, I haven't played it in probably like a year, really. So,
oh yeah,
I always come back. They did that new like mod thing. They released like 200 mods in Anniversary Edition. I haven't really played it, so yeah. Isha, I'm an Elder Scrolls fanatic. It is the game I probably have the most time into out of any other. I loved it series so much.
Did you ever like the joke like around like 2014 or 2015 when people were like, when are they going to release Skyrim 2?
They've released Skyrim like 8 or 9 by this point. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
I always wondered how people would feel about that. Just anybody that be like, well, it's Elder Scrolls 5.
The
Skyrim,
new, yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6, and then people were like, no, I like Skyrim. I hope they make a Skyrim 2.
2. Now they're on Skyrim 9 or 10. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking, anyway. I'm excited about the new Elder Scrolls. Not as excited. One of the reasons I love the Elder Scrolls series was because of Jeremy Soul's music, his soundtracks, and during the production of the new Elder Scrolls, he got Me Too'd, and people came out and said he was like a terrible person and a pervert. And I think he may have been accused of like rape and shit. And I was like, no, Jeremy.
Is that what he did?
Oh, he got his balls drugged through the fucking glass. And so he's not the composer in the new game. Like, I cannot describe, I wouldn't even want to tally up my hours on Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. But it would rival, like, it's almost all of the video gaming I've ever done. Would honestly, if I added all those up, everything else would, maybe WoW was the only thing that would kind of compare. So, like,
I was about to say, is it comparable to the Warcraft?
Yeah, it would definitely outweigh Warcraft by a lot. And this man's music was in the back of my ear every fucking time I was playing it, and so it kind of does make me sad he turned it to be a piece of shit. So yeah. Oh, you're not liking it as much? Okay, yeah, there.
It's kind of like one of the things I can't remember if somebody said this here one of these weeks, but I think I remember hearing the comment that. Generally a lot of people that are like really, really good or like driven at something, you know. There's also the same kinds of people that like will tend to do the things necessary to get what they want, whether that be like
manipulation,
you know, whether that's like they want to get really, really talented at like an instrument or like a particular skill, or they want to make a lot of money, or they don't take no for an answer and they're going to have sex with that girl whether they like it or not, or they're going to conquer the world whether they like it or not.
Sexually harass all the female voice actors in the Elder Scrolls team, yeah.
Whether they have any say about it or not, you know. But that's what they're driven. That's the mindset for it. You know?
Yeah, it makes me very sad. It makes me very sad that I will not hear his soul through that game. I hazard to say almost it will not really be an Elder Scrolls game without his composition in the background. So anyway, Skyrim may have been the last official one, and it's, you know, it's just, anyway, it makes me sad. Yeah, I mean, oh fuck yeah, special edition's great. The new special edition, they updated all the textures. You don't have to fucking get like 1,000 mods to make the game look good. You don't even need any EMBs or anything. It's just out of the box. It looks good. I just downloaded a couple mods. Mainly just boob mods, and I'm just joking. I'm actually joking, because I might stream it again, so I can't put anything not safe for work in there. But yeah, it's great out of the box. Yeah, I will try it, man. I'm skeptical of how together it will be, but I'll definitely try. Those guys have been working on that for like fucking 10 years, so yeah. I'm excited for the new one, but that is it. GALENTV, how many? So we got a couple stories here this evening. I know there's some ones from last week too.
There's a couple from last week that we can get, but they're really long, so
that's all right.
You can save them. So, and some of the ones I have picked out. This first one is a shorter one. But some of the other ones are a little bit more like medium length, where we were doing a lot of like quicker ones.
Yeah, those are
Honestly.
nice. Yeah, those are nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen. So I mean,
Let's start with a little short one here. The very
Okay.
first one that I linked to.
which one was
It's early
that?
2000s.
Oh, I got it right here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's early 2000s. Now I did a little proofread just to see, so I don't think there's any particular bad words.
No hard R's or deeply
Well,
offensive things.
despite our best efforts, every now and then, but we've been good lately. I don't think we've seen any.
Haven't been too many slip ups. No.
Knock on the desk for that, but
Yeah, considering where these stories are from, yeah, it's yeah.
Let's see here. So, this is from November 21st, 2012. So this is in the early 2000s. I'm a young lad, about 12 years old, and I'm staying with the grandparents in Ohio. Now, the grandparents and I spend a morning in town running errands, picking things up for Christmas dinner, visiting the barbershop, etc. And as we're out, it really starts coming down. Now we assume it's heavy snowfall. There it is. It's a freak storm. Grandpa says we'll have to cut our day short. So we head back to the house where Grandpa's waiting for us. Or where Grandma's waiting.
You get two grandpas?
No, well, that's what I was about to say. I misread that.
Well, that's all right. I mean, it's 2024. Actually, this is only 2000. Oh, whatever.
Well, this is true. Well, it's still. But anyway.
Yeah.
On the way, we spot a figure on the side of the road walking in the opposite direction. Grandpa can't, in good conscience, let the guy walk in this weather. Stops and asks if he needs a lift, but mid-sentence stops. Shoots me a concerned look, then asks the man to get in. The guy climbs in the back seat, and, he's a big guy for you, with a huge beard and a 1,000-yard stare. He also stinks like shit. Grandpa whispers at me not to stare and physically forces my head forward. Drive for a while. The guy is stinking up the entire car, and Grandpa and I are holding our breath. Suddenly, the smell is just gone, and Grandpa busts a U-turn quickly, confused. Fighting the urge to look back, and Grandpa tells me it's fine, I can look. The man is gone. I turn, and I'm hit with a megaton of what the fucks.
Jeez.
The bearded guy has disappeared. Ask Grandpa who that was. He says, "It's best not to talk about it." And by his tone, I can tell he means that I should clam up. So I do. As we press the spot where we picked up the stinky bearded guy, see another figure by the side of the road. My skin crawls, and I think, same guy. Even though the snow is so bad that I can't see who it is. Grandpa accelerates a bit. We barrel right past the person. And don't say a word until we get home. I asked him about this a few times before he died, and he always said he'd explain it sometime, but he never did.
Holy fuck. Yeah, there's tons of stories of people picking up hitchhikers and having stuff like that happen to them. Maybe not physically disappearing, although there's lots of anecdotes on that as well. They'll have conversations with them. It's usually like difficult to talk to them, or they'll talk to you and it's like they're reading off a script and not really engaging with what you're saying. Every time you talk to them, it'll prompt like a new fucking like kind of like NPCs. And then they'll either disappear or they'll get out and then walk or up the street and they'll just be gone. And so I've heard of this. Have you heard of these stories? I've heard maybe a dozen of them over the years.
Well, not outside of these things, but we've encountered a few stories like this, like where somebody's picked up on the side of the road, somebody a little bit strange, and then you go, okay, well, let's move on, and then it's like something happens and a switch flips, and the individual or the entity, and then they either just like disappear, or they get out of the car, run, and disappear down the road, or they're just gone.
It's so weird that until in this instance, I never heard this before, but there was a smell too. Well, I'm assuming the story is real, but they got a smell with it, which is very interesting because I don't recall any of the stories that I've heard. YouTube videos, a couple that we've done on here, same, and then like TV shows over the years, like ghost TV shows, they feature these. And more recently, I think I told these stories, but the most recent incidents that I've heard of were in Fukushima, actually in Japan. That it happens quite, not regularly, but like, around the time of the when like the wave hit, like the anniversary, supposedly cab drivers will have this happen to them. There's a couple people supposedly that are like repeat offenders that I guess they're just stuck in fucking, you know, some kind of limbo. And it just the guy thinks he's getting on the bus every morning. He's like, no, bro, you're fucking dead. He hit by the wave. So yeah, spooky.
Did they have the stench with them? Like if they're
No.
like these,
Well, not the guy didn't mention a stench in his story. He didn't say anything about a smell. He just would picked the guy up and he looked back and he was just actually same kind of phenomenon. He was just blankly staring. And he had his hood up, so you could kind of make out his features, but like not a lot. And he started to try to talk to the guy, and through the conversation, realized that this guy wasn't from like 10 years ago. And I think he asked him or engaged him about like, well, are you dead? Like, and then he just looked back up again. He was gone. So as soon as he started to get into like who are you? He just disappeared. So, yeah, fucking spooky. I don't know. Obviously, kind of like, you know, abduction phenomena, UFOs. I think there's something to these stories. It's like, well, what is the explanation for it? Because it's definitely not psychosomatic. Like, it's definitely not some psychological phenomena, or because if two people, and now most of the stories I've heard, it has only been one person. So you can maybe try and write that off as hallucination, but if there's truth to this story, two people not only see the person, but also smell them. That's some kind of physical phenomena. Like, that is not a hallucination at all.
Like, my favorite part of the story was, and it didn't really have to do with the story, it was just the meme that you put in where he said, he's a big guy for you.
He's a big guy for you. Yeah. That is a meme?
That might be the best meme of all time.
Is it really? I'm not even familiar with that.
No. You remember that movie, the Nolan Batman trilogy?
Yes.
So, the third one, The Dark Knight Rises, there was like a audio leak, I guess before like 6 months or something before the film came out. That was leaked, and it was passed around on 4chan, on the television and film board. And the audio leak was a leak of the first scene in the movie, you know, where these where they go.
Oh, Bane.
Yeah.
Yes, Bane's. He's a big guy for you. Yeah.
So that's the clip, the context of the clip where he says, "If I take the mask off, will you die?" And Bane goes, "It would be extremely painful." To which CIA replies, "You're a big guy," and he goes, "For you." So the trouble that people had was they couldn't discern whether he was saying, "Would it be extremely painful for you?" or "Are you in fact a big guy for you?" And in which case, if he was a big guy for you, what kind of writing was that? And it just came from like a misunderstanding or a misinterpretation of what's going on, and there were people that supposedly legit like couldn't figure that out from the audio leak. So it just got memed to death, you know. And here we are, about over 12 years later, and it's still going fairly strong. It's still funny. Fuck,
we're keeping it going.
At least to me, anyway. At least it's still funny to me.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, we got some long ones in here. We got a couple more too, I guess, to go over.
Let's go to the next one. So this one says keep or reposting from earlier thread. So it's from the 9th of May of 2020.
Bye.
Well, let's see what this says here. Keep in mind, this will use both my own memories and secondhand accounts from my parents, who remember this incident. So I'm about 6 years old, and I just began sleeping in my own room since we were able to move into a house that allowed for us to have our own room. Excited because I felt like I was finally a big boy who could live on my own. First night, feel hot, like very hot. We live in Texas, so the heat was not a rare issue, but this felt like unbearable. Almost to the point of not being able to breathe. Just go to the living room to sleep and forget about it. The next night, the heat returns, but This time it feels less warm and more mean. My 6-year-old mind didn't know what malice was, so that was the best way I could describe it. It made me leave my room, but I couldn't. Something made me so scared that it got me frozen. Tried to yell for my dad, but almost like those dreams where you yell and nothing comes out. Same thing here, but I knew I wasn't dreaming.
Ah, yes. Night terrors, yeah.
Now, here is where my memory gets fuzzy. So I'm going to go off what my parents remember. The next day, I go to my dad and tell him about the past 2 nights. He chalks it up to me being scared or alone in the dark. He decides to put a nightlight in my room, and hopefully that helps. Comes into my room that night like he usually does, and this time he reads me a bedtime story, all in hopes to calm me down. He leaves, and seemingly that's the end of it. Fast forward to about 2 a.m. or so. The absolute worst blood-cuddling screams he has ever heard comes from my room. So loud that it actually wakes him up, or wakes up the neighbors. My dad is not a fast man, but that day you swear he had super speed the way he was able to get to my room so fast. Our rooms were on the opposite sides of the house. My dad basically breaks the door off its hinges and sees me on the floor crying and cowering for my life in the corner of the room. My dad goes on to explain how as soon as he went in, he felt pure aura of just anger, malice. Dad picks me up and bolts out of that room. Sleep with them for the next 2 nights. My dad doesn't talk about the room for those days, not wanting to scare me. Tells me that after he talked to my mom about it. My mom, being religious, an avid believer in the paranormal, tells my dad that it has to be some sort of spirit haunting at the room. My dad is still skeptical to say, fuck it, and sleep in the room himself. My dad's still skeptical, decides to say, fuck it, and sleep in the room himself, just to make sure he did just imagine it, since he was still groggy and half awake when he came into my room that night. Later that night, he tucks me in with my mother and goes to sleep in my room. The next day, we find him sleeping in the living room. Mom asks Dad what happened. He began to go on this huge tirade about how the room made him feel nauseous and almost depressed. Said that the heat itself was bad, but that around 2 a.m. he felt almost suicidal. Point of thinking to just turn on the car gas and let it be. My father is not depressive, nor has he ever had a history of such. My mom tells me something is definitely fucked up about that room. Now, my sister, she was about 17, hears my dad say this. Most teenagers do, tend to not believe him. So she says she'll sleep in the room, to much of my mother's dismay. Later that night, my sister goes into my room. About 2 a.m., same as last night, as the 2 nights before, she bolts out of the room. And I don't mean run, I mean she almost leapt out of the room, how fast she tried to leave. My mother tells me that she even caught my sister trying to leave the house entirely, in a mess of sweat and tears. Later that night, after my sister calms down, my parents ask what exactly happened. She goes on to explain that she had been touched by something, not just the normal grazing feel or strange sensation. She means grabbed and groped. She explains that while in the room itself becomes scorching hot, touches felt like they were setting her on fire or burning her.
Jesus.
Said that the pain may have been one thing, but the sheer feeling of anguish and despair she felt while it happened was on an entirely different level. She explained it as the feeling when you get when someone you love dies and you have to see their body in a casket. Of course, my mother and father, they knew what that felt like, losing a parent and grandparent respectively. My mother finally tells us she wants to sleep in that room. Dad tells her it's not, and just call a priest or something. Mom says she wants to confirm it herself. Part of me thinks she just wanted to have a piece of paranormal pie.
Fuck yeah.
A piece of the paranormal pie. That night we all go to bed and my mom goes into my room. Same verse as the first, second, and third. 2 a.m. and shit hits the fan. This time we hear crashing and screaming. Dad once again runs into the room, tells me to stay in their bed until he comes back. I can hear Sister running to my room as well. I can hear her talking, but not real words can be made out. Later that day, my mom explains what happened. Let me just say, this is a comment. Just want to say thank you, Anon, for having this pre-typed. My mom tells my dad that she felt the exact same malice and anger that he and my sister did. Only this time she could feel a direction. She could tell where it was. She continued to explain that she just knew where it was sitting, or standing, or whatever. At first, she left it. She left it be since it wasn't really trying to harm her. But then she told my dad something, and later to me, which to this day has never left our minds. She begins to tell my dad that not only was it there, but it spoke to her. Not quite the same way, not the same quiet whisper my sister got, but full audible speech. She says the spirit began talking about my father first, saying things like, "He only chose you because you were the easiest. He only chose you because he needed a rebound. Only reason he stayed was the kid." For context, I am my father's only child. My sisters were from a different marriage, etc., etc. She then begins saying the spirit talked about me, how he'll end up being buried by you. He'll never amount to anything because you'll never let him, etc.
Jesus.
And this went on for maybe 30 minutes until she just lost it.
30? She let this fucking go shit talker for 30 minutes from the corner? What in the fuck is this? Alright.
My sister felt fear. My dad felt depression. I felt malice. My mother felt pure, unfiltered anger. My mom isn't someone known for her temper, but when she is mad, she's terrifying. It was one of those moments. Mom finally told my dad to call a priest, bless the house, and exorcise any bad juju. Call a family friend who was also a priest at our local church. Priest comes in and immediately asks, "Can you show me your son's room?" My mother and my father never told him about the room. When he asked why he wanted to start their first, the priest just said, "I think that's where I'm needed the most." My mother allows him in and leads him into my room. The priest stops, almost frozen. Tells my parents that there is something evil, something cruel in here. And as he said that, he turns to the corner of the room, same place my mother told my dad she felt it. The priest points and says, "There, that is where it lives. It's no spirit, it's a demon. I don't know what brought it here, nor why it resides in this exact area, but something about this land attracts it." Priest, as he says, this begins to set crosses and candles around the room, grabbing his holy water. Begins to pray and spread the holy water. As he's doing that, the whole room goes hot, hotter than anyone has ever felt it, to the point where we were all drenched in sweat as this happened. Priest is praying and spraying at this point. Looked like a movie almost. The whole time it felt like something was struggling clean to the room. And then after 30 minutes it stopped. No more heaviness. Temperature went the same as the rest of the house. Everything felt normal. Priest then says that it decided to go. It knew that it couldn't stay. Fast forward about 2 years, my father and priest friend decided to discuss what exactly happened. Priest begins to examine that for some reason. The demon felt an abnormal amount of attraction to that one area. That one bit of the house that was full of malice and anger. Says he's researched the house, and from what he knows, no one was ever killed there, or an Indian burial ground, or there's any of that crap. Just something there's fed its evil nature. tells my dad it's not unheard of for a demon to just choose a random house, and especially a random room, but when it does happen, it happens for a reason. To this day, neither the priest nor my parents know why. Now I'm 23, and to this day I still think about that room. Still sleep in it sometimes when I visit my folks, but nothing ever feels off. If you see it, it's just a normal, everyday middle-class room. I have had some paranormal experience here and there since then, some bigger and more unexplainable than others, or since some bigger and more unexplainable than others. But nothing ever tops this one. Nothing ever gets close to this one. It has always stuck in my mind. It is possibly why I still believe in the paranormal at all. Just the amount of evidence I witnessed firsthand those 2 weeks or so was enough to tell me this isn't all superstition and voodoo. Still wonder sometimes what was it attracted that thing to my room. Not my parents, not my sisters, nowhere in the house, but my room. Maybe demons are just more attracted to by toddlers since they're more innocent and easier to corrupt. I'm not a theologian, so I can't say for sure. All I know is that in some sick way, I hope I can encounter something like that again. Thanks for reading. I'll probably be back with other stories I've encountered, but wanted to write this one down because it always stuck to me.
Very well written, actually. Brilliantly written. Another creepy one. Another creepy story. Jesus. This one in particular, I mean, obviously we don't know. These could all be fanciful concoctions, right? Young writers, like, stretching their legs, right? Here's a great test audience, 4chan. What do you think about that? That's Jesus.
I kind of always have like that. Maybe not so much you because you described that you shared a room with your brother for a while, but
yeah,
the first time you go to the room by yourself, can't say that I just remember it like super coherently, but I definitely know that feeling like when you're kind of like by yourself in that room for the like early on, and you're just kind of like, oh god, I'm in this here by myself.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, So I kind of like that resonated a little bit, when you're like 5 or 6 and you're just kind of by yourself and go like, oh jeez, the doors, I'm in here by myself. I gotta fend off the monsters. I don't have another body here to help me fight the monsters. It's just strict 1-on-1. It's not 2-on-1. It's a 1-on-1.
Did you ever have a feeling of pure malice out of the corner of your room?
No, I can't say that I ever had anything like that. I know the feeling of like it just gets too hot in the room, but probably nothing even remotely as close as what this guy was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the interesting part was when it started like digging into the wife about how the husband really felt about her. Again, it's like, I mean, if for whatever reason any of this is true, right? But that's very interesting, and I understood the priests too. The priests able to pick up instantly that it was a demon. Now, priests do, like Catholic priests, do go to exorcism still. If you know any Catholic priests, if you talk to them, they probably don't openly talk about it a lot, but they will still do exorcisms at houses, and they do encounter things. And I mean, I've heard anecdotes from people. Well, we've that story from I won't mention his name, but our old philosophy professor.
Yep.
Yeah, that a priest and a psychology professor went to go visit a lady who had a similar kind of incident with things, poltergeist activity, just things flying off shelves and shit. And they encountered something, and I don't know what they didn't hear what happened, what they did about it, but very interesting. Like it got into like the woman's head about, like the husband doesn't really give a fuck about you. He's just here because he had the kid, and that's it. And it's like listening to people's thoughts even and dwelling on those and playing with people psychologically. And then the room and the entity even affecting the moods of people as well, which is very scary to think about, No, I probably won't get into this, but I have been in an area once where I could maybe describe I felt something similar, but it was
similar to this.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, but it's hard to discern because it was after somebody had passed away, and like quite tragically. And I had kind of felt the feeling a bit beforehand, but you know, I think we're psychic creatures to some degree. I think there's, you know, thoughts or energy, literally. And I think although we don't understand the phenomena, like I'm not into spoon bending or anything, but there's something about two people when they're close to one another and know each other. There's a bond that happens, like whether it's with friends or, you know, romantic partners. There's some kind of bond. And I think you do pick up on people's mood, even like subconscious moods sometimes. Like they'll kind of unconsciously project it. That could be it. And whatever that like, emotional, but you think about the thoughts or energy to some degree. And when you think of people being in a space emotionally, and if you're emotionally in a really bad space, you're in a space, in an emotionally bad space for a while, it could potentially affect the space negatively, literally. So when you walk into it, the mood is literally down. It feels down. It's just negative, whatever that phenomena is. But I've heard people say that before. They're very empathic. Like there's like obviously there's like empaths and people who feel emotion, but there's people, and I've talked to a couple psychics. I mean, again, I'm not completely sold on that phenomena, although I think there's definitely something to it, where they'll pick up on bad energy literally, and they could pick it up off of people, they can pick it up off of a room, they can pick it up off of anything. And anyway, I did have an experience where I felt something like that, but it's hard to, there was a reason for it, I guess, but I can kind of get that. It felt like sadness, but it felt like malice too, which is the other thing. And so, I mean, not again, just a small anecdote from my experience, but I have been in a space where I felt malice. It's like a feeling, just as an energy. And there wasn't really any need for that necessarily. It should have just been sadness. I don't know why I was feeling that, but not that I'm like a deeply empath. Well, I like to think I'm a fairly empathic person, but not like psychically. So I don't know, but that's my only experience with it. So whatever that is, it's very disturbing if you think about it, if you hypothesize about this, if there's anything in the story. What was this entity? I mean, obviously I'm on team alien here with whatever the fuck we're dealing with, right? Some kind of entity. But it's weird, like, why would you have visitors from other worlds come down and then sit in the corner of a room and just go through psychically, telepathically, all this fucking drama? Like, oh my God, like, he only went to her. Because of she's just a fucking rebound. Like, they travel light in space.
If you allow me, it's because they're psychic vampires. Those same fucking aliens. They're coming down and they're draining all our emotion. Yeah. And frankly, I'm sick of it.
Oh my God, do you have the update on Todd? He fucking went to Nancy. She's a fucking rebound. Okay, we can use that as well. Let's fucking break that marriage up so they kill themselves. So then we can somehow benefit from that. It's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
likely it's just like a little like fear in the back of their mind. Yeah, and it's just kind of like there's like it's like a little tiniest of like wounds, but it's like that concern is there, and it's almost like, kind of like it's just like, well, they just dig that open, you know,
dig it open.
This thing was just like got such a good grip. It just like my fingers are designed to pry these wounds open, and I'll pull it open. Now I am inside your mind. So it would kind of make sense. You know what? Actually, the alien theory would kind of make sense if they are in fact telepathic, and maybe it was just this one gray that was just one sick son of a bitch, and he was just in there, you know, and just like being like, you know, I hate humans. Those humans, they took my brothers and sisters from Roswell, from there, and you know what? I escaped. They weren't gonna find me. I was gonna let the humans get me. It'll be my duty now. Yes, I'll start with this house.
My penance. I will break your marriage, bitch.
You know, it could very much be just like something like that, but you know, the thing is that you kind of expect more from the higher intelligences. You wouldn't expect them to be spiteful like that.
Should we though? Well, this is the thing. I don't know. Like, maybe we don't really evolve much past this point. Like, we get faster stuff, but we're still just fucking dickheads, and you just have dickheads in space, like flying around, just doing dumb shit when they come to other planets. And you know, you bridge that gap where you learn telepathy, so you can kind of get past language barriers, and then you just kind of just act like a dickhead.
You know what? That would make a lot of sense actually. If like the more advanced species was, like just the more like petty and spiteful they were. So like,
Maybe.
well, think about it like this. You could kind of think about it from like I guess maybe you would call it a societal like, or like at least like Western societal like class thing,
Mm.
where you would have somebody that you would say that effectively is struggling to make ends meet. What's the first thing on their mind? They're worried about money, and they're worried about
Mm.
just being able to, frankly, just survive. They're worried about like, am I going to have enough money for like, rent to effectively feed myself, and then like maybe like, do I have enough money like if my car breaks down or something? They're just constantly on edge, but they're thinking about like the necessities, whether
Mm.
or not they have it. Now, suppose that that's all taken care of for you, and you don't have to worry about any of that. All of a sudden, the things that you're concerned with are just like, did you hear what did you hear what Emily said? Did you hear what Karen said about me? Oh my god, she just said my ring was the ugliest ring. Well, you know what? Her face is the ugliest face I'd ever seen before. And then all of a sudden you're more concerned with like social interaction, perhaps.
Mm.
Um, you're more concerned with, kind of like the opinion of like, okay, well, how am I viewed with my peers? Because all of a sudden the necessities, the bare essentials to life, are not really like of concern to you. So you find new things to be concerned with. Now let's think about with like a hyper advanced species where like even just everything is effectively taken care of. So if everything is taken care of, now would they still have concerns or something? All of a sudden they're just thinking about it on like an intergalactic level, where it's just like, you know what, the
Mm.
humans think they're so smug just because their species advanced a little bit fast. It took us 10 million years to get spacefaring travel, and it only took them like 3 decades to get from, the ground into space. They think they're so
Fuck.
good. Well, you know what? We're just gonna go and we're gonna drive all of them nuts. We're gonna start with this house.
Fucking right.
So maybe it could just very well be something like that. But
Yeah.
that's of course putting a very human perspective on the aliens, because that's the whole
Well,
thing with an alien is that the
who
the
knows?
intentions would be alien to us.
Who knows? One Bigfoot 7 hours ago. Oh, this is a Bigfoot guy. Oh yeah. Stephen Greer. Here's proof. Oh yeah. We'll get to that at some point, Train Beast. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. That's the Bigfoot interview. Yeah. Fuck. I don't know. This was. Yeah. I don't know. That one's those really well written stories always. I don't know. They get me more where it's just coherently written. It feels like there's some kind of. It feels genuine the way that it's imparted. It feels like, but you may never know for sure, right? But there's just interesting anecdotes, right? People having these kinds of experiences, and God, it just makes me so curious. The paranormal shit makes me so curious, right? Because it's the what if there's some truth to it, right? And these kinds of stories are really interesting, and these anecdotes are interesting too, because it's just regular people. They're not fucking insane, right? You have multiple corroborating witnesses that something strange happened, and fuck, it's just truly anomalous, right? And you know what? Maybe it doesn't have to be aliens. Maybe it can be some strange otherworldly entity that's non-physical, that's in spaces that we don't understand, right? But technically, that would be by our definition an alien, right? But not an alien in the sense
would be not from like this part, and this part being Earth.
Earth dimension, or if you want to get into invoking different physical dimensions and whatever. But yeah, that's fucking interesting. Yeah. Fucking right. Yeah. What's this? Oh, this is a cabin. Oh, this looks like a spooky one. What's this one?
Oh, cabin.
Cabin.
Oh, yes, cabin. What, you want to take this one for a spin?
Yeah. I'll read through this one. If it looks like it's fairly quick, I'll do this one and let you maybe do a longer one here. Okay. Okay, I misread that at the start. Okay. I have a cabin in buttfuck nowhere, Colorado. I decided to go up for a couple weeks. No internet. Oops. A single line telephone, state of the art for the 1980s. On Wednesday, April 10th, Colorado had a blizzard. It wasn't too bad in cities, but where I was at, it was horrible. That's all the background you need to know. Be sitting in my cabin, stoking the fire during buttfuck blizzard. Hanging out and watching some DVDs on a CRT older than Father Time himself since I can't go outside. Constant howling in the wind. Turn up the volume. Eventually, get up to piss, so I pause the movie. Wind is no longer howling. Didn't notice since TV was blasting. Find it strange since it's been doing it for 4 hours now. Thank fuck it's over. Take a few steps until I hear it. Click. Look around. Literally have never heard this clicking noise, and I've been up there for 5 months now. Click. Realize it's coming from outside. A branch probably snapped and hit my cabin and is rocking back and forth or some shit. Fuck me, I'm not going outside. I can deal with the noise. Standing in the bathroom. Begin to piss. Click. Annoyed. Finish up. Walk outside bathroom. Click. Realize there's no consistency to the clicking sound. Can't even expect it. Happens whenever. Sit back down and continue to watch movie. Continue.
Oh my god, this is the goddamn alien from Signs.
Clicking.
Just clicking.
Clicking. Turn volume down since the wind isn't howling. Clicking speeds up multiple times a minute. Fuck it, I'll go take a nap or something on the other side of the cabin so I can't hear it. Walk into bedroom. Clicking begins. My bedroom is like 50 feet from where the TV is, but the click is just as loud. Like it's fucking following me. Try to ignore it and go to sleep. This guy just doesn't want to face this. The inconsistency of the clicking breaks me. Throw on snow gear, time to fuck up this branch for making me go outside. Walk the door and brace myself. Open it swiftly and feel old man winter fuck me up the ass. Quickly walk out and shut the door. Walk around cabin in blinding snow, looking for a branch like an idiot. Make multiple laps and can't find the asshole. I assume it finally got loose and flew away. Go back inside. No clicking. Feels good, man.jpg. Go to take that nap in peace. Fall into a deep slumber. Wake up about 2 p.m. Click, 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 click. Start to feel uneasy. Don't give it a second thought, and I throw on snow gear. Go outside. No branches, no howling, no nothing. Go back inside and go from mad to upset because I can't figure out what the fuck the sound is. Click, 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 click. Walk to different rooms to try and escape it. Click, 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 click. How the fuck is it following me through the cabin? Bro, I think it's in the house with you. Moment of realization. It's not coming from the sides of the cabin. It took him a while to catch on to that. It's coming from the roof. Oh. All rationale, thought, has gone out the window from the sound of this fucking clicking. Snow gear and walk outside. Storm has calmed down for now, but it's still foggy. Can only see like 20 feet ahead of you. Walk around back and grab my ladder. Prop that shit up. This ends now. Begin to climb up ladder and stop. I can only hear the clicking inside. Even over the howl of the wind. DEFCON 2, X warned me about this. Climb up high enough to be able to see the top of the roof. At the top, I see a pale figure. Heart stops. DEFCON 1. The figure is hunched over. It's sickly thin, and I can see its spine. It's angled where it can't see me, but I can see it. See it moving slightly. Look slightly down and see it has on hand a fingernail that's probably 6 inches long. Literally just tapping the roof. It stops. It slowly turns its head to me. Black eyes and small slit for mouth. No facial features beside that. Almost like a crude drawing of a fucking alien. Begins to stand up. By the way, it's true. Your life does flash before your eyes when you think you're about to die. It stands up staring at me. Probably 5 feet tall, give or take. Walks to edge of roof of cabin, never taking its eye off me. Hops down on the ground. I can see it land, and it slowly backs away into the fog towards the trees. Never stops locking eyes at me. Petrified. Probably didn't move for 5 minutes, or at least felt like it, in the blistering cold gripping a ladder. Snap out of it. Climb down the ladder carefully. Don't even bother to take it down. Realize I'm in shock. Calmly walk around cabin and go inside. Walk around house and turn off lights and put out fire. Grab keys and walk out. Don't bother grabbing anything else besides my wallet next to the keys. Storm is picked back up, but I literally am in some kind of trance I don't even notice. Close door and don't bother locking it. Suddenly walk the car, open the door, get in, start it, and swing around. Still in shock, I drive for hours until I reach a motel. Shock is wearing off, and I can feel myself ready to fucking go crazy. Quickly get a room, and now I start feeling adrenaline and rush up to my room. Open it and close it and start freaking the fuck out over what I saw. Okay, continued. For a few hours, I was freaking out in the hotel room. Calmed down. And slept for about 16 hours. I drove back up to the cabin, fucking bolted inside, grabbed my phone, ran out and locked the door, and got in the truck and sped off. After reading all the stories on X, I was more surprised than anything I didn't immediately flip out, but just went into shock for hours. I got home a few hours ago after driving for a while and stopping multiple times to breathe and not flip out again. I think one thing people forget to mention is that fear comes in waves. I'd be driving and totally okay, then suddenly it would hit me and I'd have to pull over and just sit in my car a while. I calmed the fuck down and didn't drive like a paranoid schizo or something. Came home and made myself a drink and typed all this out. Don't know what I'm going to do with the cabin. Don't care right now. Night, assholes. Thanks for listening. Oh, and no, I didn't smell blood or copper. Grab some guns and friends and go cryptid hunting. I guess I respond to this one since I went to brush my teeth and just came back to turn off my computer. Fuck that, man. These people who say that they try and hunt these creatures after seeing them are LARPing. I have zero desire to try and fuck with that abomination. I'm not about to risk my life or people I love in some fucking meme hunt for a creature I believe is intelligent. This isn't hunting a deer. It's not like a deer will come attack you while you're walking through the forest. It's like hunting another hunter who knows the woods better than you can and obviously can climb since he was on my cabin. Don't believe these fuckers on here who say they stayed and tried to kill it or whatever. No man would ever see something like that and think to stick around. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a story. Reminds me, you'll probably know this, Galen, reminds me of that other story now. And that story, the being had very long teeth.
Yeah.
But this pale humanoid creature with big eyes, and he had a big long coke nail or something off his fucking pinky finger, fucking just clicking on the now again, let's just humor this story for a minute. Now, you travel through galactic space, okay? You come all this way, you end up on top of some guy's cabin, and instead of going inside the house, you just walk on the roof and click your fingernails on the roof. Now, try and explain that.
Well, I mean, he's just this alien landed down. The other aliens left, and he's just there, and he's got to survive out in this cold Colorado mountain. And he goes up, and he's just trying to figure out how to get into this attic. Click, 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 click. Why won't this open? Usually, when I press the finger in my spaceship, it opens up. Why is this roof not opening up and letting me in? And that's why it starts clicking more, because it doesn't know how to do anything else. And then this guy brings this ladder, goes up. The alien just turns around, looks, and goes, "Oh, fuck. I was spotted by the human."
That sounds like the reaction. It sounds like literally the reaction, like, "Oh, I got caught." Like what? Like,
and the human's looking at him. Well, I'm gonna lock eyes with them. All right. I'll back away. He's not pulling a gun on me. I'm not gonna pull a gun on him. I'm just gonna get out of here. Get out of here, and I'll find a new attic to go in.
It sounds like a pretty accurate reaction to seeing something jarring like that, where you would just enter shock and you wouldn't even know what you're doing. Because it didn't sound like he was anticipating this is going to be anything paranormal. And then just out of no, he's probably thinking it's a squirrel or something normal. And then you just see this fucking alien with a big long fingernail on your fucking roof. You're just like, bro, what the fuck is this? Just in some fucking dream. I don't know how I'd react to that. You'd like to think because you humor these stories that you deal with it better. But it's one of those things where, and I would understand why he'd be super paranoid. It's like, what was it doing on the roof? Like it knew you were there. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, and he clearly got the sense that it could get at him at any time or something, right? Hence why he was paranoid. He pulling over periodically, having panic attacks. Like, are they coming back for me? And just very, very strange. Very strange. I mean, obviously humoring the story, right? It could just be a complete fabrication, more than likely it is. But yeah.
Would you want to go cryptid hunting if you saw that thing, or would you agree with them and you'd just be like, no, I want nothing to do with it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would absolutely agree with that gentleman's sentiment that you would not want to engage, right? So there's, in ufology, and I've read this before, and this is from, there's contactees who said this. Some people, some abductees have loosely mentioned stuff like this, but it's to do with like rules of engagement with ETs. Now, this is not anything I would fucking take to the bank and you'd take it with a bucket of salt. But I've heard this before where essentially the good, bad ETs, the way in which they communicate here with people, you only really ever get engagement if you're willing to engage with them. So what that would mean is with the good ones, you'd only really get any help if you're willing to engage with them. The bad ones, you know, if you don't want any of that shit around, it won't be around, right? But it's the second you engage with it, that's where the gloves are off. And now they can engage with you. And obviously, if there's anything to that, and they're from some other fucking solar system, right? They're going to be far more advanced. You're just dead. It's like Predator, right? Like, you're just going to be fucking dead. So the second you engage with that, that's when you're done, right? But if you don't want to engage with it, then you don't have to. Or if you want to get rid of them or whatever, there's rules that you have to abide by, supposedly. Now, this is, you know, people concoct these stories. It's like a Star Trek, like Prime Directive shit where, oh, well, there's a Galactic Federation deals with all interactions or whatever I forget what the equivalent is in Star Trek. Starfleet Command designates that this is a developing civilization. You can't interact with, you can't be seen by them. If that happens, we pull you the fuck out of there. You get thrown in jail. You get serious repercussions. And the contactees and abductees have kind of implied that, so they say, that a similar system exists here where developing civilizations are kind of protected from some kind of federation or governing body, and that you can't just come down and do space pirate. But there are space pirates, and if you engage with them, then you'll get that reaction, right? So I, just off of woo alone, if I ever encounter something like that, yeah, you wouldn't want to engage with it in any way. You'd want to literally just say, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. Like, you wouldn't want to even go near it. Yeah.
Look, I won't tell anybody. I'm just going to go live my life. Yeah. All right, just don't come get me. They say, oh, no, we're taking you to our zoo now. You will be amongst... Well, that would be the thought, though, is like, there's that question asked on the beginning of one of the episodes of Seinfeld was, if aliens abduct you, they take you back to their home planet. Would you rather be in their circus or their zoo?
Oh, definitely the zoo. The zoo's like, they look after you, yeah.
You say the zoo. You don't want to be on the circus. You go around the planet. What? No, are you kidding me? I'm shoving the alien babies in my mouth and whatnot. No, it'd be terrible. Besides, they might put a woman in there with me in the zoo.
Well, there you go.
What if they don't? And then he goes, "What if they don't?" Well, then I'm pretty much where I'm at right now, except I got to go across the universe.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Is that a Jerry Seinfeld joke? For Christ's sake.
That's a good bit.
That's like that's the only good Jerry Seinfeld joke I ever fucking heard. Yeah. Yeah. God damn. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely fucking pick the zoo. But yeah. I mean, or the hubris is that we think that we put him in the zoo. We see that big long fucking alien fingernail and be like, give us that fucking finger, bud. Come on now. Cutting that thing off. But yeah, no, I wouldn't fuck. I wouldn't fuck with that. That'd be way too spooky. But yeah.
The fear would be is that you would go to the alien feast as the main dish.
Yes.
The reality would be you probably go and are like just stuck in some like underground facility where they're just like prodding you going, yeah, so this is where the humans bleed. Now where do the humans excrete waste? Okay, they go from there. Do they excrete it? What happens when we put the needle in their eye? Is the eye a vulnerable spot? That is definitely a vulnerable thing. Okay, next part. And they're just poking and prodding you,
Rabbit made a good line. You could get some alien bussy in the circus. Pussy or bussy.
I guess the question is at what cost? How valuable is the alien bussy?
Teach you to run in a ball or something? Fuck, you could be like that. What are those guys? The guy with the biggest like nose or the biggest mustache back? Man, like you've seen the circus fucking people, man. Like, he just would have got all the puss. Got man with biggest mustache ever. Something like this. This is actually modern day. But like some man like that in the circus, like God, that guy would have just been killing it. Right? Back in the day. Something like that. Fuck. Yeah. And maybe that's all they get you to do. They'd be like, no, you're gonna grow this weird thing on your face out. You were like, fuck, all right, but
Behold, the tallest Zeta Reticulan ever. Oh, he's hideous. But he's so tall.
Yeah. What has he done with his face?
He is an astounding 6 feet tall.
Oh man, yeah, that's exactly it. Well, that's exactly it right there. Yeah, something crazy like this. Yeah,
Unthinkable heights. If the second tallest gray is a mere 5'2". What about the mantis grays? Well, we don't talk about them. We don't talk about the masters here. We are purely talking about us, the worker drones.
I've heard of people, not to interrupt you, that have had a huge crush on this guy, and I can say I don't understand that. Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah, that's it. Sam Elliott.
He's got a cool cowboy look, but man, I do genuinely do not get that one. But
it's you gotta listen to the voice and just imagine being the dude. And you hear my voice as I endorse Kamala Harris for president. I think
Is that what he's gonna? No, he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he didn't. No.
Kamala Harris for president of these proud United States. Pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
Sam Elliott and Kamala Harris said, tells me to vote. No.
I was pretty sure they did that.
No.
Because I think I saw it. It wasn't too long ago. I saw it. You see, there's one from September.
Oh God, Jesus, no. Is this it here?
I can't believe we're having this conversation again. So here we go. You know who the candidates are. You know what's at stake. One candidate promises a divided America filled with lies and hate. And one stands for change. Kamala Harris has more courage, more honor, more guts than this guy ever had. So you decide, are we really going back down that same fucking broken road, or are we moving forward towards hope, towards freedom, towards change?
We know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success.
There's promise that lies in change, and the time for change is now. So what the hell are you waiting for? Because if it's the woman thing, it's time to get over that. It's time for hope, for change. It's time to be a man and vote for a woman.
Yeah. Fucking Christ, help me. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Okay. Well.
I think I saw that on TV. It was a shortened version of that. I don't remember him dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah, I know. That caught me off guard. I was like, whoa! This guy's angry. He hates Trump.
But I'm pretty sure I saw that on TV.
Yeah.
Probably during football one of these weeks.
Yeah.
You got it straight from Sam Elliott's mouth.
Oh my God.
Kamala Harris for president.
Listen, I get
Donald Trump.
I get hating Trump, but man, if you vote for that woman, you gotta get your fucking head checked. I mean, I hate to say, but you know, both of them, man. I know. The only thing Trump's beginning to have something running for him is he's getting a good team of people together. Elon, although Elon's an eccentric character, he's got RFK Jr., who actually seems like he has a plan to try and fix the fucking healthcare. And honestly, the diets of most Americans, they did a really good talk. I actually watched about trying to, fix the obesity crisis, or address it at least in the United States properly. He had Tulsi Gabbard as well, that's going to be joining his team. She's brilliant. She should have really been the one, I think, but you know, Trump just
Donald Trump's team.
Yeah, she's going to team up with Trump. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I know. They're all coming out to support him now. Many of them were not a fan of Trump to begin with, but I think they've realized that the absolute idiots have fronted what's her name, Kamala, and this other guy. So I think they're taking the lesser evil. And maybe if it's a good team, I don't know. Obviously, I wouldn't really want that either. I think Trump is too divisive, but
What a strange election this will be, because it
Yeah.
seems like, depending on where you go, it's a landslide for the other candidate. You know, if you hang out
Yeah.
like Twitter or like on some like the social media websites, it seems like Trump's like a runaway gonna win. And if you like listen to like mainstream news or like cable news or whatever, it's like Harris is like a slam dunk or something. And it's like, somebody's not telling the truth here.
Well, the mainstream media covered it's completely co-opted. They've got a full
Dinosaur media.
They have had a full-blown psyop running for the last 8 years on Trump. Now, initially, I mean, you know, it didn't make sense. I understand that he is an unsavory character. He's a bully, but you know, initially, no one knew what he and his team were going to bring, and there was just an unnatural amount of disdain. Clearly, what was happening was he was not one of these pre-screened people that these globalist elite definitely wanted to install as president. And I think that's still the problem, is he's just this wild card that is threatening a global order that they want to try and maintain. And they're throwing a complete puppet up there against him, and they're just trying to make that. If you go to Drudge, anyone wants to get a sense of the PSYOP, go to Drudge Report. Look at this. Dead Heat won election, 2 worlds. Trump praises Z. Harris dares medical record release. Like, it is always against them. They have not said one thing positive about his campaign or Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., any of these from the people that have stood up to support him, Brett Weinstein. There's tons of intellectuals too that are behind some of the people in his campaign. And you know, it's just absolutely unbelievably biased towards one side here. And it's very blatantly a psyop to try and get her in. Yeah.
Say that Trump praises Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping. Yeah, no, I don't think. Yeah,
that guy's got a very fun name to say. Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
Wasn't Trump friends with the pedo that hung himself in jail? Yeah, well, Jeff Epstein was around everywhere, man. He was involved with.
Jeff Epstein was a great guy. I went to many galas and functions with him.
Yeah, it's essentially.
Jeff Epstein was a terrible guy. He was the worst. I didn't ever hung out with him. Never.
I mean, Trump was like the king. Was the king like New York essentially, and Jeff's place was in New York, and you know, anybody like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were best buds with Jeff Epstein. I'll ever know Bill flew on the Lolita Express there, fucking 150 times or something crazy, and. Hillary Clinton was senator from New York. So like she knew Trump very well. Dude, Trump supported her, and Epstein was a part of that support as well. And then afterwards.
Hold on there, Jim Russell. I only flew on the Lolita Express because Jeff's got the best pussy around.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Holy fuck. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I wish. It's sad. I wish we had better leaders. The only thing when we're looking at these kinds of political theaters, right? I mean, to some degree, this is literally what this is, but we don't know, many of us who aren't embedded in this machine, how bad things are really. And that's the only thing. Like, there's I've dealt with people all the time that go on about, oh, fucking Trump's so fucking bad. I think someone should have just fucking blew his brains out. And it's like, well, you know, trust me, I was never really a fan of the guy's fucking character. I think he does come across as a bully. But how bad are things really, right? How corrupted, how co-opted are people, especially in the United States, really? Like, how bad has this two-party system become? How corrupted is it? I think I would bet, right? Because I don't know, but I would bet that things are bad beyond imagining. That'd be my guess, just considering how things are like financially right now. That'd be my bet. And we don't know what Trump may know. Initially, Trump had a lot of backing. There were a lot of people in the military, and actually there still are that support him. And even some in the intelligence community. And I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole QAnon thing, but I suspect there's something to do with that, with him. That maybe he was asked to run as this, you know, rogue candidate that wasn't puppeted, or let's be real, are any billionaire is going to have a couple strings hanging off him, so he probably has a couple. but not corrupted and co-opted to the degree that many of the other candidates would be. And then that's where you saw this machine turn on him in 2016. And 2015, 2016, I remember it. I watched it happen. And it started with the Russian collusion bullshit and the Russian bots attacking all of these other, Democratic candidates like Clinton. And that they were on about this idea of the Russian bots, where it wasn't Russian bots. It was people around the world paying attention to what was going on. And they tried to write them off as Russian bot. It was like this archaic concept. It was clearly something cooked up by a bunch of old men that were from the Cold War era. And they were the only thing they knew how to do was use Russia as an excuse, right? That's the only thing, that's the only smokescreen they had to throw up was Russia. Right, because that's what they want. They want a war with Russia for whatever reason. Lower the fucking population or whatever. Trump, like he is, Alfan, who owns red shops in London when he dies. Maybe, man, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm sure absolutely he would have been involved with corruption to some degree, especially in New York, right, with the mafia and shit. But I'd be real curious as to seeing the whole machine that's been running things here in the West start to unravel. And, for people that are thinking that when he gets in, he's going to do that again, I personally think that's a bit naive. He already had his chance, and he didn't really unlock all of the secrets with Epstein, or he didn't go and arrest everybody in Hollywood for child pedophilia, or all the other extreme QAnon things that people thought Trump was going to do. I don't buy that, but... I think he just poses a threat to the global order, and just maybe this time, maybe this. I don't think so. I doubt it though. But anyway, maybe there'll actually be something good that comes out of it if he wins now again. But it's very divisive. He's very divisive. The division to some degree, I think, has been sown by this psyop. But there's some base level, for people that are probably older and have grown up with him. The boomer generation knows him pretty well. They just had a disdain for him from the beginning. They always thought he was a dink, like Art of the Deal. I kind of read through it. My dad read Art of the Deal back in the day. It's one of his big book that he wrote. He was a good businessman. He is a good businessman. He got a bit of money from his dad a lot, but he is a good business person. There's a lot of bullshit to put out about him, but he is also a dink. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's debatable whether he was well, I guess that, you know what? I'm just not going to go there.
Well, I know. I think overall, he's had financial success in his life. He made a lot of money.
His big thing was real estate and casinos in Atlantic City. I think it was was it the Taj Mahal was the one that was the big flop?
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was that one was the one that kind of flopped, and then that kind of set him back for a little bit. And he wasn't really like a known name until I think The Apprentice when that came out, and then he had his catchphrase, "You're fired."
Yeah, and that's just all fucking all that
and
TV
then
stuff.
That fizzled out a little bit. So a lot of people thought the presidency run was just like a way for him to kind of get back in the media eye. And well, supposedly, what all started it was he, I guess, what was he talking to? Was it like his somebody that was like kind of like a confidant? I don't know if you would call it his like agent, but that I guess he started looking at the Obama birth certificate thing, and I guess he was the one that was just kind of like, oh, this is very interesting stuff. What do you think about this? And I guess he started pressing that. I don't know what the particular agenda was for that, but what really set it off, I guess what started off his president campaign was that he was invited to a White House correspondent, or not a correspondent, but he was invited to a dinner at the White House, and Obama went up and gave a speech, and I guess he just roasted Trump the entire time. And I guess there's video footage of Trump just kind of sitting there with that, that kind of smile that he does, where he's smiling, he's just like, you just wait, I'm gonna fuck you right up in the
Yeah, fuck.
And I guess after that, it was after he left that dinner was supposedly when he really started to get really serious about the presidential run. It was more of just hey, Obama thinks he's gonna do me like that. Well, I'll show him. I'm gonna show him.
It could be. Well, he's clearly an egotist.
That's supposedly what happened. That's supposedly how it went down.
I would believe that. I would believe that. That could very possibly be what happened. Yeah.
Anyway, I did not know you had such strong feelings about Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Well, it was a joke. That's how we got started on this.
Oh, this guy. Oh, the mustache guy. Oh, well, no, I just
we got started on this whole.
She looks pretty good there. But no, I just have heard that. Actually, yeah, he looks really good there. I kind of get it from there. Yeah.
Because of the ad.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Sam's not a fan of him. Yeah.
And if you got a problem with that, then you're not a fucking man.
You're a fucking pussy. Take that fucking MAGA hat off, you fucking pussy. Oh God. Anyway, we got more important things to deal with. We got an actual fucking legitimately psychotic narcissist up here.
Yeah, that was a fun little tangent.
Oh God, Jesus, yeah. What are these other stories here? There's like a goat man one. What the fuck is this?
This one's a fairly long one.
Yeah.
This is the last one of the ones I linked for like tonight, but there's a couple others that we have time we can go over that we didn't get to last week.
Okay.
So let's see where this goes. So I'm camping in the woods. This was from June 16th, 2017. I'm camping in the woods with my longtime best friend for a week. He's got around 50 acres that spills into straight forest. Just the basics, tinned food, water, that kind of shit. Sleeping in the bed of my truck because a poor individual, no money or tent for or camper. First day goes well, and we talked the day away while we fished. Head to bed, cap truck off in case of rain. Just hang on 1 second. There we go. We capped the cap truck off in case of rain and sleep like a little baby bitch. We wake up around 7 or 8, debate getting a fire going to cook breakfast. A friend tells me he's going to start prepping food and I need to get firewood. Walk off in the woods with the shitty little Coleman's hatchet. We start breaking down little dead trees, get an armful of wood before I head back. Super uneasy feeling, like when you fuck up and you know it. Like someone took everything out of my stomach and replaced it with primal fear. Sketched out, but think nothing of it. Head back to camp with woodens and what is that with that beast? Like the wooden. I guess he says spooks, but what would those be? Like the wooden, like the I don't know what that would be.
I don't know. Well, yeah. Head back to the camp with wood.
Yeah, it was wood. Yeah. Anyway, cooked breakfast consists of a warmed up canned ravioli. Not buying ice in a cooler so I can eat fucking eggs in the woods. Eat our fill, pack up leftovers, and head hiking. Make sure to pack stuff back into the truck and lock it. Hike for an hour, stop in a clearing and enjoy the view. Nothing but long grass and the middle of trees all around us. Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, you boys have some fun in there.
Enjoy the air. Head back into the woods. Hiking back, food sitting like a fucking brick in the stomach. And walk for what feels like hours. Oh shit, what time is it? Check out, it's only around 2 or so. Oh, not bad, we left at 11. Wait, shouldn't we be at camp? Why does nothing look familiar? Panic mode engaged. Freak out to friend, we're gonna die in the woods. He says we're fine, camp shouldn't be too far, walk for maybe another 15 or 20 minutes more. Shit, there it is. No problems here. Unlock the truck, turn on the radio, cool nerves. Not too far out. It's kind of a shitty signal, but enough to get something. We relaxed for a couple hours, talking about love, life, and shit. No girl for my own, but whatevs. Don't want ravioli again, so we're gonna go fishing for dinner.
Ravioli. What's in my pocket, Ollie?
Down at pond from yesterday, trying to catch something worth eating. Nothing so far. The entire pond seems dead. Whatever. It's the evening. Lots of critters to disturb the water. Managed to catch 2 or 3 little fish. Not sure what type, but no bigger than hand. How do I skin a fish? Weapon. Bring back to camp. Enjoy how quiet it is out. Get back and start skinning and deboning the fish. I feel uneasy, but I think nothing of it. We're chomping down on fish. Can't stop thinking about how still the pond was. Friend breaks the silence. Shit, man. You were gone for a while. Not a lot of luck today. Nah, I swear to God, it was like there were no fucking fish in there today. It was spooky as fuck. The entire forest seemed kind of quiet today. Sit and ponder for a bit. Did I hear any birds on the way back? No, I don't think I did. Is there any wind at all? Any breeze? Shit. I don't think there was that either. Not liking this one bit. I don't want to be a pussy out on friend by calling it quits this early. Whatever, I'm just tired. Fix a mattress in the bed of my truck for the night. No homo. Make a little fire and start burning shit to pass the time. Just doesn't feel right. Ask friend if he's ever gone this far back. Yeah, I used to come back here with my dad all the time. A little backstory here. Friend's parents died about a year ago. Super fucking loaded. Left the house to him, money to the other family. Asks if he had any scares back this far. Says nothing too bad. The worst was this hermit that lived about 2 or 3 miles out past the property line. He didn't bother them. He didn't bother them, and they didn't bother him. Shrug it off and head to bed. Sorry, this is taking a long time typing on a mobile. Oh my god, phone user. Well, anyway. Wake up at about 2 or 3. Shivering like a motherfucker. It's bad. Lay under the blanket for a bit. Decide, fuck it. I'm gonna walk around and try to wear myself out and fall asleep. Climb out of bed. Careful not to wake a friend. Not a dumbass, so I make sure to keep the tent in view. Walking in peace, enjoying the stars and crickets. I hear something off in the distance. My mind playing tricks on me? Train my ear to listen better. Crickets. 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 Silence. Ungodly moaning. Muffled screaming. Shit my ass. I rush to wake up Fred. Oh, get the fuck up. Immediately tell him to be quiet and listen. He hears it too. Can't be too far off with how muffled it sounds. Imagine covering your mouth with a pillow and screaming into it. Like pure screams enough to crack your voice. Now, play that far off in the woods, just barely loud enough to hear. Stomach is swirling, mess of emotions and shit, not sure what to do. Friend tells me they got lots of coyotes back here. Maybe one of them got a hold of a fox and killed it. Yeah, maybe. Sounds vaguely sentient, though, like it's pleading. Lay in bed listening to the screams for what feels like forever before finally passing out.
Jesus.
Well, I wake up the next morning exhausted. Mind is cloudy and I can't think to save my life. I go take a piss out in the woods. Crunching leaves, MP3. Hear hairs on the back of neck stand up. Fight or flight activating. It's my friend getting sticks to make another fire. Well, what happened to the firewood from before? Up and left. Must have burned through it all. Wait, shit. I got cell reception out here. Remember friend tell me about fox screams last night. Google fox scream human. Video of vixen screams. Watch them. Sound close, but something about it seems too animal. Like it didn't have that fear behind it. Chalk it up to being tired. The rest of the day was unusual. Stuff, start fire, cook food, hike a bit, swim in the pond, make bed for the night. Laying in bed, refusing to fall asleep for fear of getting fucking gutted by skinwalkers or some shit.
Fuck yeah.
Hear the crickets again. Something about it is just so calming to me. About to fall asleep when I hear it. Muffled screams like before, only clearer. I swear on my life I can hear something behind it. I can only make out the stronger parts of the word, like a drawn out ah noise or something. Eyes are welling up with tears. I don't want to die, man. I sit in the bed until sun comes up.
Jesus.
So, fuck it. We got today and tomorrow and we're gone. I want to know what this noise is. And I tell a friend I want to head out back towards the opening we found. Seems uneasy about it, but agrees. Walking out, no talking between two of us. Lifelong friends, this shit doesn't happen often. Always something to talk about. Around halfway, their friend falls and twists ankle pretty bad. God, fuck it, why now? Well, I help him back to the truck and set him in a passenger seat. Wait with him to make sure he's okay. Gradually gets more and more pasty, cold skin, like fever feeling. Fuck, man, that's no good. Sit with him and talk. I want my bro to be okay. No good food to comfort, just ravioli and potted meat. Lap of luxury.
Jesus.
Talk over our options. He could barely walk, so it wouldn't be easy for him getting from point A to point B. And I really want to check out that noise from earlier. Fuck, man. What do? Fuck it. I have this unexplainable pull towards this. I'll be right back and book it out. Sprinting through the forest, I need to know what this is. Get to clearing in maybe a half hour. So not too bad considering the distance from camp. Again, no birds, no ambient noise, just pure piercing silence. Don't feel safe in the slightest, but I want answers. Cross clearing into the other section of the woods. Much denser, light peeks through the very small spurts. Kind of like a basement in the evening, seeable but dark. Walking super carefully. I don't fuck with no spirits, you know. See a little cairn about 30 feet out, and I go check it out. Blue rags, long, stringy black hair, and an ungodly smell. Pull rags out, they're made of denim. Okay, fuck this shit. These trees got burial mounds covered in tattered clothes and hair. Nope, the fuck out. Ran through the clearing, stopped to catch breath. Now, to get a scale of things, clearing was maybe a football field and a half, and I'm no runner, so I guess that'd be about 150 yards, which is, I don't know, maybe like 75 meters. I can't remember what the conversion is, but...
Oh, God. Jesus. Yeah.
Winded, gasping, all of a sudden hear that scream as clear as day. I whip my head around. There's a tall, gaunt, woman-like figure standing at the tree line. I freeze up. That's how it ends. I feel an intense wave of calm wash over me while I'm safe here. I want to go to her, learn who she is. Very beautiful, seemingly angelic in nature. All but forget about sick and dying, bro. Fuck, I need to get back. Turn around to run, and I hear it. Branches snapping, grass rustling. Oh, sweet dick, I'm gonna die here. I run faster than the fucking Olympian athlete. Legs taking me Mach 7 down through my trail.
Fuck.
Entire time, nothing but sobbing and moaning from behind me.
Jesus.
Gradually slows down like I got a tether and kept going. Stopped to catch my breath about 5 minutes from camp. Back to a tree. I don't want ghost bitches sneaking up on me. I don't want any ghost bitches sneaking up on me. Gasping, panting. Feel hand on shoulder. It's bro. Freak out and start talking like a million miles a minute. Sees this ungodly fear in his eyes. He says nothing to me. Walk back to camp, scared shitless. Bro won't say anything to me as we pack up. Car drive home. Spend the night at my place because he says he wants time away from his home. Up until maybe 2, talking each other down. All of a sudden, bursts into hysterics. Blabbering fool. Sounds like a toddler learning to speak. calm him down, ask him, what the fuck's he doing? Says he got spooked after second night of screaming. He heard it too. Set his phone to record audio during her sleep. Skimmed through it in an hour. Skimmed through it in the hour I was gone. Says he got about through the 4 hours of a cherry-picked sound when he saw something out of the corner of his eye. Super fast, blur, long arms, skinny body, dark hair. Said he heard some kind of unholy laughter as it left, like it was playing a game. Ran in my direction. He couldn't do anything. Twisted ankle, sickness. Kept listening to audio. Around what would be 5 a.m. hears rustling and recording. Uneven gait like step, 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 step. Giggling, almost like a child. Stops after a while. Rattling. Sound of my truck bed opening. Rustling shortly afterwards and what sounds like cooing. Like a mother soothing a child. Zipper unzipping. Cloth tearing. Bed latching. Sprinting. Check back, missing a pair of jeans. Wait, just a fuck. Karen in the forest, fucking clothes. Inexplicable pull. Oh god. Whatever that thing was, made a fucking burial site for me.
Oh.
Why? Fucking why? Freak out, lock the doors, close the blinds, sit in the bedroom with friend. Sit there until morning and drive back to the house. Entire place is torn up, glass shattered, furniture torn, doors scratched. He's looking for us here. Not enough money in the world to get my friend to stay here, and not enough to get me to let him. Pack what little he could salvage and bring him back to my house. This was maybe a month ago. Dude's been staying here while we try to figure out what to do. May just tear down his place and sell the land. No way we're going to try and fix it up to sell it. Still have no clue what that woman was, but I know for a fact it wasn't anything I want to remember. I try to answer any questions best I can. This whole story. OP, you better thank fuck every goddamn day you still breathe. You saw that wifeish woman by the cairn. Wifeish woman made eye contact with you. You felt calm, at ease, compelled to approach her, to approach the gravesite. But your friend, who twisted his ankle minutes ago, was alone in the truck. That memory, that thought, was enough to distract you, just enough to snap out of it. Once you turned away, the fear came back, and you were pursued. The moment your friend lost his footing and twisted his shit up, that was the fork in your path of your fate that led you to not becoming some creature's fucked up torture doll and never leaving those woods again. This was a big tip-off. Step, step, step. Giggling, stops, rattling, and truck bed opening. Rustling and what sounds like cooing, like a mother soothing a child. Zipper unzipping. Cloth tearing, bed latching, sprinting. Basically, wifeish woman creeping up to your trunk at night, giggling, opens the bed where you and your friend are sleeping. Rustling starts sifting through your stuff. Cooing. You woke up or you were going to wake up, and she did it. The thing where she makes you calm and at ease, and you fell back asleep. You almost woke up to the sight of that thing hunched over in your truck bed with you looking at it. In fact, you fucking might have done just that. But the relaxing thing made you go back to sleep and forget it. It took your pants because they seemed valuable to you and smelled a lot like you. It knew you were curious. It knew you'd look for them. It led you right to the grave it made for you. It was waiting for you there. It started to draw you in by doing the relaxing thing again. And you almost walked right into your own grave. It didn't plan out for your friend. It didn't plan on your friend getting fucked up. It didn't plan on you remembering him and turning around. It was going to take you, and then take your friend. You fucking got away by a fucking hair.
Fuck, that one's spooky too. These motherfuckers are so good at writing these spooky stories. That's very unsettling.
So good because it happened. They recounted it.
It could be. Well, that's the narrative here. I mean, man.
So was this a skinwalker, do you think?
Huh?
Would this have been a skinwalker, or was this the Wraith lady?
That's a good. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the lady must have been the entity that was fucking around with them. That must have been it. It just presented itself or created some kind of an illusion to lure him in and make him feel safe.
That's spooky, though, where, like, instead of looking at this horror, you just, instead of getting a sense of fear and dread, like, where you're petrified, instead you get a sense of, like, calm and trust. And you're being drawn, as he described, to his own grave. Ooh, that's spooky.
It is very spooky. Yeah. You know, you wonder, you hear these stories, and you wonder those missing 411 stories in the woods, right? People just going missing. If in those instances, those people went to it and then got them, whatever they did to them. But, you know, I will never go and camp in deep woods ever. Even, you know, it's just, and not necessarily from these stories, but from the missing 411 reports alone, man. Yeah, I will not be caught dead in the woods, deep woods. Absolutely fucking not. There's too many fucked up stories. There's too many like actual stories that have been confirmed, and then you hear these anecdotes, man, and it just makes you fucking wonder that there's some other shit out there that, man. I mean, like that's on another level to have the audio recording now. He left the audio recording running, and he heard like he'd come into the fucking truck bed and grab stuff, and like, what in the actual fuck? Yeah, well, this
maybe it was a succubus. I don't know if that's how the succubi operate, but could be.
Those, yeah, well, whatever they are, and though there's roots to all those stories too, right? All those different cryptids, right? All those different stories from times past of people encountering these things. You know, the Greeks are quite famous, and a lot of those modern fantastical entities, not just from the Celts or from northern, like Nordic peoples, and from the Mediterranean peoples, but they all have stories of people encountering these strange creatures, usually almost always away from civilization, right? Out in the forest, out in the woods somewhere, right? They encounter these strange beings and they lure them in. They usually, it's almost always malevolent as well. It's some kind of, or a trickster kind of character to them. But there's usually some level of malevolence with them as well, right? And we have the same anecdotes today, just in different ways. We have this whole thing concocted about, oh, it's paranormal, and they're ghosts and demons, and in times past they were monsters, and it's different, but it's the same phenomena that's existed, right? And for anybody who wants to get like you don't necessarily need to get this book, but Passport to Magonia, Jacques Vallée. Now, in that book, he doesn't explore like a lot of stories specifically. There's a couple, but he just kind of uses those anecdotes and compares them to like modern encounters with aliens, right? Or people's supposed encounters with aliens. And you're kind of bridging that gap, right? You're bridging the gap between the two now, where you're looking back at all those stories, those entities, and you're saying these are potentially just advanced beings that, now why? And now again, this alien in this story is stealing people's genes and shit, unzipping them, tearing them up, and throwing them in a shrine in the woods. It's like, why the fuck would you cross through time and space to come here to just troll two lads in the woods and steal their fucking genes? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But then maybe things are boring. Maybe we think that things are going to be more exciting, and then maybe in reality, it's just kind of boring. Then once you can travel around everywhere, you just kind of get lost, and you're just like, well, fuck, I got nothing better to do now. Let's just go fuck around with these monkeys in the woods. Like, so, yeah. They could be gooners. They could literally just goon and get off on trolling people. That can literally, we can't discount that. That could potentially be it. Just they get off on the troll. Yeah.
It's the hunt for them. Man, we got that primitive human. Well, reminds me of a story actually that a friend of mine. This is just a very quick story. This is a friend, a mutual friend of ours. that he has a dog, and he told me that one morning that he was so bored that he would wait. He was looking at his dog, and he would wait for his dog to like try to yawn, and whenever the dog would yawn, he would go and he would just grab its muzzle. And he said he did this for like 2.5 hours one morning because he was bored. Now, ask him, why the hell would you do that? And because I still don't that I don't know. I wouldn't do that. That's just me. But I mean, ask him why you would do that, and he essentially just said, "Well, it's because he's bored." Well, think about these. Think about these aliens. All right, these aliens they can move around the universe at a whim, perhaps.
Mm.
And they can move in, and they have all this time. Perhaps they have perhaps maybe the span of like a millennia is just like an afternoon for them.
Yeah.
And they go through, and they just find like, so this would just be an instance of like a couple seconds. They have nothing better to do, and they're just like, all right, this planet. Oh, there's some people out in the woods here. Oh, yes, my precious. They will entertain me for a couple hours.
It's time to goon.
Yeah. So
yes, I've got 1,000 years to goon. Fuck. Yeah, that could be it. I mean, yeah, he's got some weird goat man in this picture, I guess. But man, there's so many. I would be curious. It would be a fun experiment although probably not very fun for us if we were to actually go and do it. But we were in the woods here. Like there's deep fucking woods here, and I'd be curious to go out and do some kind of experiment like this. I even heard locally a lot of stories of people encountering strange entities. The only local stories I've heard of are to do with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and there aren't a lot. So I haven't heard any stories personally of like strange entities in the woods here, but I don't know. There's a first time for everything, right? If you go deep enough, you might encounter something. There's a couple areas like growing up, my brother, my dad, and me used to go on dirt bikes, and we used to go to some pretty remote fucking areas. I don't know. It'd be a couple hours into the woods through dirt roads, like rough dirt roads that literally only dirt bikes and ATVs. And honestly, in some areas, only people walking in dirt bikes would probably be able to get to. Like, because you're hiking, like hills are like, and even ATVs wouldn't be able to get up. Like four wheelers wouldn't be able to get up some of these trails. And they were like properly strange. I think I've told this story here before, but I can't recall where this place is. And I've been trying to find it ever since we went there. But there's an area of forest here in New Brunswick where back in the 70s, Irving, after clear cutting the place, went and replanted a bunch of trees to make up for all the trees they destroyed. And the trees that they planted, they were fir trees, but they were the wrong species of fir tree. They were like Nordic fir trees, and they were like light. They were almost like they were green but blue. Is it neon? Is that the right color I'm looking for here? Like turquoise, like a turquoise fir tree. Turquoise. Yeah, let me see if I can look that up. Turquoise colored fir tree. Yes, that's precisely what they looked like. But like on a much grander scale. They looked that color. They were like fucking literally blue. That's not a real one. Like that one there. Like this. That's what they look like. So the fir trees around here are almost all just green. And we came over this hill and all of the fir trees were that color. It was like it was like a little Zelda-like forest that had been quarantined off. And the trippy thing is, and I don't know how this makes sense, but the grass took on the same color as the trees, where the grass was like turquoise. So we were driving through this little area with all this like turquoise, turquoise trees and turquoise colored grass. And it was so trippy. It was a really weird place. And it just felt weird because it looked weird. But I was like, if there was going to be a place where you get fucking hit up by some fucking cryptids at night, that would be the place to do it. Because it'd be so strange. But yeah, that's my little fucking story. That's the only place I know of that I've encountered at least said, I didn't get a bad feeling there. It was just a weird place because it looked weird. But deep woods, honestly, I would always get nervous in deep, but I think it's a natural thing. Like we're not particularly resourceful people in the 21st century here. Like, if I got lost and stranded in the woods, like, our bikes broke down, like, back then, my dad had a cell phone. He was the only one, really, that had coverage. And there honestly wasn't even a lot of coverage out there. So if you hurt yourself, you may have been fucked, honestly, really, in those deep woods. And good luck you could start a fire maybe, and that might signal somebody to try and come get you, but kind of unsettling, you know.
Kind of the funny thing with, like, phones and whatnot, where, you know, if you leave your house without your phone, you almost feel like you're cut off, and then you're just like, well, what if I get in, like, a car accident or something? Whereas you go back, like, 50 years, and that was just like, well, you just didn't have the phone when you went out the house. Of course, there were a lot more pay phones around, though, at that time.
Yeah.
I guess that was just it. Well, shall we do another story?
Yes, we shall. I'm trying to find pictures of this grass. I can't see it anywhere. That's weird. Anyway.
So, there's two that we didn't cover last week. They're both pretty long. I could find, like, a shorter one if we wanted to do a shorter one.
Well, you know, it's not too. It's up to you. I mean,
we could do one of the two. So there's one that's about what's it called? Yokais. I think
this is a Japanese one.
Yeah, they're just Japanese. They're yokais, which I think are like Japanese spirits. Like, I think they're malicious, but I don't remember if that's context. Or we can do this one story that's titled "The White Man."
I'm digging these yokai story. This seems properly fucking terrifying.
One,
what the fuck? Yeah.
Let's do the yokai then.
Okay.
All right.
Jesus.
So, recently started to get interested in Japanese folklore and stumbled upon this nifty site that has a lot of yokai. Any anons in here that have encountered any known of or more obscure ones? Bump with the last few hours I gave up on my dreams about seeing Japan. I like the Tengu and the Kitsune lores. The yokai can get really obscure, ranging from harmless to evil and destructive. Hang on, I'm just going to open the original file because I can't quite make it out of the browser.
Okay.
Just give me a second. So I can get the text just to be a little bit bigger. Alright. There we go. Alright. So, it's me, 16-year-old dude, quarter Japanese. And I moved to Japan to live with my aunt and uncle and cousins. Details will derail the story, sorry. She lives in a rural seaside town about an hour or two outside of Sapporo. House faces a forest and mountains. Ocean is right behind it. There are some train tracks between the backyard and the ocean. Train fell into the ocean or something a few years back, and it's been defunct ever since. My aunt and uncle, who I'll call Reiko and Noriaki, have pretty much lived their lives in this town. Cousins are both girls, twins, and a few months younger than me. I'll call them Yuiko and Aya. Noriaki is a superstitious, mostly because his parents were too. Loves to tell stories about yokai, whether they happen to him or someone he knew. They're all really entertaining. Reiko doesn't seem to believe it as strongly as he does. She's my dad's sister. Our family wasn't ever superstitious. Everything goes pretty well for the first few weeks. Aya and Yuiko introduced me to their friend Fubika, and we hit it off pretty well. Find out she's just as, if not more, superstitious than Noriaki. Combine the teenage fearlessness, she wants to find these things. I don't believe in these things yet, but whatever, she doesn't strike me as crazy. About a month since moving, pretty comfortable there, I was taking walks, so on days off school, I take walks into the forest and mountains to relax. One day, I'd be walking as usual. Suddenly, giant fucking scream out of nowhere. Sounds exactly like someone being murdered. This is Japan, so can't brush it off to the mountain lions. Different scream from same direction deep in the forest. I yell into the forest, "Who's there?" Totally silent, nothing but my voice echoing. Something about the echo feels wrong. It's delayed, it doesn't sound quite like me. Another scream this time is closer. Fuck it. I'm not staying around for this bullshit. Turn around and book it back home. Normally it's about half an hour to get to where I was. I walk slow. At my speed, I make it home in about 5 minutes. Noriaki's waiting at the door for me. Doesn't seem to be surprised that that I obviously sprinted home.
Rowan, welcome.
Gets me some water. What's that?
Oh, sorry, I'm just responding to chat.
Gets me some water and sits me down at the table. It's harmless. Don't worry. What? He smiles and he smiles. I heard you screaming too. I've heard it before. What the fuck? How'd you know about that, I ask. I could hear it, he said. Yamabiko are loud, but they are not dangerous. Yamabiko? He goes on to tell me all about Yamabiko, and how they echo back people's voices and can mimic any sounds they hear, like really, really loud parrots, but they look like weird dogs. He seems happy to tell me about them, but suddenly he gets serious. You're lucky that's all you ran into, Anon. There's much worse up there. Fuck, no more walks?
Jesus.
Let me come with you next time, just in case you run into those. Kind of liked being alone, but Noriaki was cool enough. Or kind of like being alone, but Noriaki was cool enough, so I agreed. We don't bring it up in front of Reiko or my cousins because they still think it's a bunch of folk stories. I'm not convinced either, but I take Noriaki a bit more seriously. About 2 weeks after Yamabiko incident, still walking, Noriaki is good company. Heard some out of the ordinary stuff, but nothing of any note. Told Fumika the story and she got excited. Wanted to go to the forest near my house. Okay, why not? And planned to meet a few days later. Aya decides to tag along too. Kind of feel bad breaking my promise to Noriaki, but Fumika's cute, and my desire to get laid later outweighs Noriaki. Sorry, man. She shows up, and Aya and I make up something about how we're going to the stores. And Aya and I make up something about how we're going to the store or something. Reiko is okay with it. Noriaki is a little suspicious, but in hindsight, he might have been nervous. Walk down the street until we're out of sight, and then duck into the forest. Cloudy day, plus the tree cover makes the forest darker than usual. Aya already looks properly spooked by the atmosphere, but Fumika is just fucking fearless. Keep on walking for a while, but find nothing. I'm getting jittery. Aya looks like she's about to piss herself, and even Fumika seems uneasy. At this rate, we'll just get lost, so we decide to head back down. Thunderclap. Start moving faster, but the forest is getting darker. Start to rain, take shelter under a good-sized tree. I have no idea how long we were out there for. We thought someone might come looking for us. Actually, we kind of hoped they would. Somewhere between the trees, I see a light. It keeps bobbing back and forth, weaving through the trees. All three of us keep watching the light. Aya says it's probably someone else on the mountain that could help us. Not exactly sure what she means at first, but she probably thought it was a flashlight. Aya stands and calls to them for help. It seems to point in our direction and starts moving towards us, keeping up the bobbing motion. It gets closer and closer, but still can't even see an outline of the person who might be holding it. As it moves towards us, I can't help but think how wrong this felt. Why didn't the person answer us? And it wasn't even that dark, so why have a flashlight? Something tells me to look to my left, and I see another one of those things bobbing around. And then another. Farther off, but getting closer. What the actual fuck? Fumika looks really scared now. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning lights up the forest. Just the shadows of the trees. Wait, just the trees. Nobody's holding the fucking lights. I tell Aya and Fumika, but the words won't come out. As the lights keep getting closer, I notice it's blue, not like a flashlight, and flickering. Keep trying to tell Aya Fumika is paralyzed. Probably already noticed. I keep on shitting myself uselessly. Suddenly, we hear someone yelling in the distance, getting closer, fast. Someone's crashing through the forest looking for us. I recognize the voice. It's motherfucking Noriaki. He comes into view and sees the lights and starts to really freak out. We sprint towards him, and I pass one of the lights. From what I could see, it was a ball of blue fire, a little bigger than my fist. I get the hell out of the forest as fast as we can and get inside. The status? I nearly actually shit myself. Aya has pissed herself, and Fumika is ghostly pale. Noriaki tells Aya to take a shower, and when she leaves the room, he gives a cold stare to Fumika and I. Thinking about how he's about to blow a fucking fuse and instead just sighs.
Man of Mystery says you should start an ASMR channel, Galen.
Whispering?
No, it's in the chat. She's in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
The big box.
I asked how he knew we were in the forest. He said he didn't. He just felt something was wrong and rushed off to the forest. So I was surrounded by the fire wisps. That's when we saw him too. Calls the fire Onibi, which is identical to a will-o'-the-wisp.
Interesting.
Paranormal fire created from a dead animal or person's spirit. Can also be created from strong, raw malice. Lures people away and consumes their life force, leaves nothing but a dead husk behind. Apparently, they trap the life force inside of them, basically imprisoning your soul for eternity. The Yamabiko wasn't really that much to spook me, but Jesus Christ, this scared the shit out of me, and Noriaki knows it. Warns me about the forest again. I listened this time because now I know what he meant before when he said there was worse in the forest. Continues about how people got lost in the forest and never came back when he was a kid. He goes on until Aya finishes her shower. I hear him tell her later that day that it was just a natural phenomenon caused by the lightning electrifying some gas in the air, but he knows it's bullshit. Fumika goes home when the rain lets up some, but it keeps on raining all day and night. Can't sleep well that night. I swear I see blue glows at the edge of the forest. This one haunts me to this day because I can't stop thinking about how we'd fallen right into the trap and how easily they could have killed us. So the rest of the spring and summer pass uneventfully. With all of our free time of the summer break, you'd think we would find something, but yeah. Again, very small, insignificant events that were probably something that wasn't yokai. One day in fall, Noriaki takes Aya, Yuiko, and I to his family grave. Pray, keep it clean, etc. I notice someone off to the side. Woman, really pale and dressed in white. Not quite out of place enough to set off any major alarms. Still human. Noriaki notices. Whispers not to stare. Stop. No red flags yet because I figured he was trying not to be rude. Yet. We finish, but I can still see the woman. Hasn't moved an inch. Okay, maybe she's just busy. Our car is the only one. Okay, maybe she walked. Start seeing her out of the corner of my eye as we go home. Yokai. Try to tell Noriaki about it. Reiko overhears, goes rigid and leaves the room. No clue what that was about. I assume I just saw a ghost. Check in with Noriaki to make sure it doesn't want to kick my ass. He doesn't know. So that night, I try sleeping. I try to sleep knowing there is a ghost following us around that may or may not want to kill us all. Guess it can't. I try to make myself forget about it by watching some YouTube. Kind of weird to listen to English again after speaking Japanese this entire time. And I sleep. Next day we have school. One of my cousins asked Reiko if she was in her room last night. Reiko looks confused. No, I wasn't. I saw you come in. Reiko tells her it was a dream, but I'm silently shitting myself. Not only is there a ghost that might want me dead following us around, but it's got into our house. Great! I ask Fumika for a hand. Her yokai obsession has gone away some because of the Onibi, but she still knows her stuff. After an intense questioning session, she decides it's a non-violent ghost that got attached to us because we paid attention to it. Fumika agrees and to come over and see if she can do anything about it, but says there's not much. Fumika shows up the next day. Nothing especially spooky happened that day. Just the usual stuff. Just the usual of seeing it out of the corner of my eye. She instantly says she can feel it. She goes around the house for a while trying to make something happen, but nothing does. Looks kind of sad about it, but it really wasn't all for running into spooky ghost right now. Later that night, so hard to sleep again because of spooky ghost. Trying to do so when I suddenly feel a wave of sadness come over me. Not actually sad, but more like being next to a friend who's really sad. Stomach turns. Really afraid to open my eyes, but I do so anyway. At the end of my room is the same woman from the graveyard. She doesn't look like she wants to hurt me or anything. She doesn't look scary at all, just sad. Fuck. I'd probably say she was kind of cute if it wasn't for being dead part. Work up the courage to ask her what she wants. Just shakes her head and comes closer. Okay, this is now getting weird. Puts a hand on my head. Says something about her son. I'm thinking that this ghost is going to drag me off thinking I'm her son. She takes a hand off my head. She's gone. Never to see her again. Mid-autumn, Fumika and I are hanging out without Yuiko or Aya sometimes. Slow day, so we decide to head over to her place, which I can ride my bike to. Old house, up on the side of the mountain, so I usually walk my bike up because it's a bitch to pedal up there even though it's not that far up, still in civilization. Since it's on the mountain, it's surrounded by forest. I get to her house, she seems very happy. She seems happy to see me. Parents say hi to me. I know they like me. I just play some video with her for a while and time passes really quickly. Suddenly I need to shit. Excuse myself and go to the bathroom. Might be an old house, but it's obviously been updated to be a little bit more modern. Notice it's getting dark out. Not that odd since it's autumn. The sun sets at like 7 in the evening here. Still means I've been here for a few hours so. Through tiny toilet window, see a dog or something moving through the trees. Just assume it's someone's dog and they let it off leash. Shit, wash, and go back downstairs. Back to video. Big sliding doors in the living room so I can see the tree line well. Keep feeling like I see something moving in the tree line, but every time I try to look at it, it stops. Whatever. Kick Fumika's ass in Street Fighter 4. Turn to her to be a smug bastard about it. She's staring at the tree line. I ask her why. Oh, I thought I saw a dog out there. I saw one earlier too. It's probably one of your neighbors. None of her neighbors have dogs. In that case, probably a stray. We did have a classmate who lost his dog, so maybe that was it. Open the sliding door, call to a dog. See the shape moving around at the tree line. Seems to be closer and we could see it better. Definitely a dog, but doesn't come. Go back inside after trying and failing. By this time, I'm almost ready to leave. Check outside again. Fucking dog is sitting in a tree like it's the most normal thing. As far as I remember, dogs aren't known for their ability to climb trees. Pointed up to Fumika and she looks over. Dog thing seems to be a little bit bigger and it jumps out of the tree. Glides to the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
The reason it looks bigger is because this thing has wings. Yeah, fuck that. I tell Fumika I'm going to go home. She tells me not to leave the house and calls for her dad. Tells him about the dog. He leaves the room and comes back with a baseball bat and a little notebook. Goes outside, starts yelling at the dog. Didn't really catch most of it. Dog runs off into the forest. Fumika says it's okay for me to leave now. And I ask her what that was. She says it's a Hainu, but her dad says it's not. The only Hainu I've heard of has been dead for hundreds of years, he said. Instead, he thinks it's a kitsune, or other shape-shifting yokai that looks like that likes to take the form of a Hainu.
Another day in Japan. Okay.
Apparently, it's been around the house for a few years, but never hurt anyone. Just likes to mess with them. I don't really care what it is. I just go home as fast as I can. Thankfully, no winged dogs.
Jesus Christ. Just like, oh, you get some baseball bat, he's back again. Fucking. What is this thing here? Licking the girl's face. Like, what the fuck is that? Is that the yokai?
That could be one of them. I don't know. We might get more information later. So we go to the top right of the page. That's where this picks up. So we got a little bit more to do. But I guess there's some pictures of some of the stuff. Like the silhouette of the lady there maybe is like the one that we saw in the other story. But I think these are all depictions of different yokai. That is the thing, though. Some of the spirits that you see, like at least depicted from what I've seen in like anime or whatnot, they're fucked up. Fucked up, twisted amalgams.
This sounds like the plot of a manga so far. I was going to say that earlier. Like it's like 16 years old, hanging around all these teenage girls in Japan. You know, encountering spirits in the forest. Sounds like a fucking manga.
The mysterious transfer student. All hell breaks
loose. That's literally, it's literally a fucking anime. All right.
All right. This one still freaks me the fuck out. One of the scary things that happened to me. The only abnormal thing that happened during the winter was how much it fucking snows in Hokkaido. Oh yeah, they're in really rural Japan if they're in Hokkaido.
Yeah, it's in the north, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing really happens during the spring except Fumika starts coming on to me, which is nice. Summer break. It's several weeks. No longer than a month in Japan. Because year-round school.
The fuck?
Hanging out with cousins and Fumika and a lot more. Some week in the middle of the summer break. 4 of us walking back to home after blowing a bunch of money at the tiny arcade the town has. Close to home, and this smell hits us. And before copper and blood skinwalker. More like rotting fish. Considering we lived by the ocean, it wasn't that weird, but fuck, it stinks. Keep walking home, slap on handy-dandy face mask. Doesn't help a whole lot, but makes it tolerable. Drop Fumika off at her house because it's a little closer than ours. Cousins and I walk back towards our house. The smell is still there. Seems to get stronger as we walk home. We're all gagging from the smell at this point, thinking a bunch of fish died on the shore or something. Finally get home, the smell goes away. We ask Noriaki and Reiko about the smell. They say they haven't smelled anything. Again, we do live by the ocean, so I just wrote it off as that. Next day, Yuiko says she feels sick. It's running a temperature of 38.5 degrees Celsius. Spends the day on the couch and in her bed. Takes shifts of taking care of her with the rest of the family. Fumika comes over to help out. Pretty sure we're her only friends. Reiko wants us to go to the store to get some stuff for Yuiko. Hands me a list and money. Tells Fumika to go with me. We go, we get the stuff, then start coming back home. The rotting fish smells and is still there, strong as ever. Rush back home, give the stuff to Reiko, don't mention the smell, and Noriaki takes Fumiko home. And day passes normally. Night. Staying up late, messaging Fumika. Start hearing movement outside. Probably wind or a random animal. Movement keeps up. Longer it goes on, the longer it goes on, the less I think it's the wind or an animal. Stop. Stay quiet and listen. Most I can hear is the normal nighttime sounds and Yuiko making noises in her sleep. Probably having a fever dream. Whatever. Go back to the phone. Start hearing movement outside again. Look out the window. A big black mass is moving away from the house. Looks either like a lump of shadows or the blackest. I'm not saying that. You can think of dressed in a black winter coat. It's moving away from the house kind of fast. I know you can start seeing things when you're too tired. So I say goodnight to Fumika and go to sleep. Next day, Yuiko is still sick. Her temperature has risen to 38.8 degrees Celsius. Day passes about the same. Yuiko's boyfriend comes over to take care of her. Aunt and uncle probably okay with it, because Yuiko is way too exhausted and sick to do anything. Also, he might get sick. Ask him about the fish smell. He has no idea what I'm talking about. Either it's gone or he has no sense of smell. Walk outside for a little bit. It's actually gone. Thank God. It was really awful. Spend the rest of the day talking to Yuiko's boyfriend and taking care of her. He's a cool enough guy. A little oblivious sometimes, but nice regardless. Day ends. For no reason I wake up at 1 or something. It fucking stinks like we're eating fish so much. I sit up coughing and I notice the window. Something has its face pressed up against the window.
What the fuck?
Definitely not human. It has jet black skin. Its eyes are pretty much bugging out. And it's got this giant tongue that's hanging out of a hole in its face that I guess was its mouth. As soon as it notices I'm awake, the thing shrinks down about a meter. I don't mean like it seemed to shrink, I mean its face and hands lower themselves towards the ground. Frozen in shock as I watch it run off down the road, the rotting fish smell goes away.
The fuck?
I'm not sure what to do now. Noriaki would be pissed if I woke him up. Silently shit myself until the sun comes up. Sleep most of the day. Apparently Yuiko's fever went down some. Occasionally get up to eat and shit and some other stuff. As far as I care, this day barely even happened. But the night certainly happened. Can't sleep because I'm scared of this black thing that's hanging out. And I also fucked up the sleep schedule by sleeping all day. So I'm wide awake and hyper aware of everything. Nothing for several hours. Then around 1:30, I hear sounds from Yuiko's room. Someone is moving around in there.
Fuck.
Might have left it alone, but one thing made me change my mind. There's a certain smell. I'll give you one guess as to what that is. Yep, it's rotten fucking fish. And it gets really strong really fast. Trying not to gag to get out of bed and rush into Yuiko's room. The thing I saw at the window is on all fours, leaning over her and using its fucking terrifying looking tongue to lick her entire body. And I don't mean it was molesting her or something. It was just licking her like how a dog might lick your face. Again, I'm fucking petrified just watching this thing. Yuiko is groaning as it sticks its fucking tongue down her goddamn throat. This is what snaps me out of my trance. Brain doesn't even bother to go into Japanese mode. Just scream, "What the fuck?" in good old American English. Suddenly, it seems like the entire house starts moving. I hear Noriaki getting up. I hear movement from Aya's room, too, and oh, fuck me, Yuiko wakes up with this thing's tongue stuck down her mouth. She makes a gurgle as the thing retracts its tongue from her throat, and then she starts screaming. Hear Aya open her door, but turns a corner into the bathroom and vomits. Noriaki rushes into the room and turns the light on before the thing can escape. I see it entirely now. Looks like a large, bald man with pure black skin wearing a black robe, kind of like a monk. Its eyes still bug out of its fucking head, giving it a permanent expression of surprise. Nose is really malformed. The way it's stuck on the top of its protruding lips makes it look like it's a turtle. Clawed hands make it look like one even more. Ears are way too big for its head. Like if you took someone's ears and pulled on the tops of the lobes until they were stretched beyond recognition. Makes some sort of ungodly hiss and shrinks down. It fucking slithers backwards out the window. Yuiko is losing her shit. Noriaki goes to try and comfort her. Aya is still over the toilet. I'm trying not to vomit, and Reiko rushes into Yuiko's room to help Noriaki console her. Somehow they convinced her it was a hallucination from her fever, and that Noriaki had come to check on her, and she thought it was me. That's bullshit, but I believe it. In the morning, Noriaki goes with me to the town's temple and talks to the priest. Agrees to come to the house, does some sort of blessing to keep the black turtle monk creature away.
Jesus
Must have
Christ.
worked because I never saw that fucking thing again. Yuiko slowly gets better, and later asks Noriaki about that thing, or about what that thing was. Kind of scary that he doesn't know. Every time I smell something fishy now, I think about that. I think about that monk. This one has stuck with me ever since it happened. For
Jesus
another few
Christ. Yeah.
for another few months, everything stays away, probably because of the blessing. Fall passes, nothing happens, and winter comes. Fumika and I have started dating now, seeing her regularly. Her parents are okay with me coming over. Usually I ask Noriaki to take me to her place because it's colder than frosty balls and the roads are way too snowy to walk on. He's fine with it because he's friends with her dad and likes to see him anyways. Sometime mid-December over at her house. She and I are just huddled under the blanket watching TV together. Noriaki and her dad are talking and seem to be having a good old time. Comfy as fuck. Maybe 2 or 3 hours. I notice that Noriaki and her dad have stopped talking. Look over at them. They're both just staring out the sliding doors at the trees. Turn to look out there. Not sure what I'm looking for, but I remember the Hainu, or the Kitsune, or whatever I saw before, and I think maybe that's it. Fumika seems to catch on soon. We're all staring out there. Try to ask Noriaki what he's looking at. He just shushes me and points outside. Can almost make out a shape of the trees. Still thinking it's what I saw before, but I can't tell it from the trees because it blends in well. I see movement, and that's when it hits me. Whatever it is, this motherfucker is big. Okay, it might not have been that big, but compared to any normal animals I saw out there, it was larger. Maybe it was a bear. There is a species native to Hokkaido, something like a grizzly bear, but never saw one in these woods. Besides, it was winter, they should be hibernating. I go back to watching TV. Maybe it hadn't slept yet, or woke up to eat something. Fumika's dad gets up and closes the curtains of the window in the kitchen, then goes to the doors and draws curtains. Okay. A little later, Noriaki tells me we're spending the night. Says it's because of the snow. I didn't think it was snowing that much. Whatever, I don't care. Send a text photo to Reiko and says Noriaki already told her. Eat dinner with Noriaki, Fumika, and her family. They let me shower and put a futon down on the living room floor. Since they only had one, Noriaki volunteered to sleep on the couch. Just chill with Fumika until I almost drift off around 11:30. Since everyone is tired by then, we all agree to go to sleep. Sleep pretty well for about 2 or 3 hours. I wake up at about 2 to thumping on the sliding door. Start to get up to see what it is. Noriaki whisper shouts at me to stop. Almost shit my pants because I didn't know he was awake, and all I could think of was, oh fuck, here comes the monk again to come finish the job. Tells me it's just a curious animal. And if I move too much, it might hear it and get spooked. Says just to go back to sleep and ignore the sounds. Yeah, that's not it. Thumps go on for a while. Kind of sounded as if you hit the glass with a beanbag. Soft and dull. Thump stops. Different noise starts. Weird, guttural sounds, but nothing that an animal could make. Sounds like etc. Keeps going. Still could be an animal, but this is fucking weird. Holy Mother of God, this thing is trying to talk. there, 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 Disco. Trying my very best to not piss myself. A few minutes ago, it was just animal noise, and now it's sounded almost like a person, but it wasn't normal. Daddy, Disco. Daddy, Disco. If you don't know any Japanese, dare means who. Dare Disco means who are you, or who is it, but it is more formal.
Oh, Jesus.
Repeated that for a few more minutes before going totally silent. Eventually, fell asleep from pure exhaustion. Go home in the morning, scrap brick dust out of boxers, and just keep trying to pass it off as an animal.
Well, that was a very exciting anime we just listened to here.
Those were good. I like that whole thing.
Yeah.
That was long, but that was fun.
Huh. 2 years. Oh, he's got some at the bottom. I'd love to hear any of the yokai stories anyone has. He just says after that, OP got on a flight to Tokyo and never heard any more of his story.
Oh,
Jesus. Yeah, it's
that's all I have.
just essentially saying that he,
After that, I had enough and I had to go home. I'm going back to America where we don't have things just banging on our windows at night.
Fucking weird, deformed monk coming in, licking some girl down, licking down her throat. What the fucking shit?
It's like a large anteater person, kind of.
That's literally it, though. Literally it. Some fucking strange anime. Yeah, man, fuck. I would. This seems like more of a fantasy to me, but
it seems like fantasy.
Well, but I mean, I guess this is a description of a yokai. Here I see Matthew Meyer, yokai.com. It's where this description of this being is from. But again, there's tons of these like local legends in all these different areas all over the planet of these strange creatures that come in and harass people. And they have stories of them, and people supposedly see them, right? People sometimes supposedly catch glimpses of them on trail cams, and we don't know what's what. We don't know if it's real, if it's all fake, But one thing that's definitely real is the stories. There's tons of stories, right? So tons of these anecdotes. So what does it all mean? I mean, I've heard Japan they've got like a lot of shit that goes on. There are still, I think it's the yokai, but there's still, they left them up, but they were like from feudal times of like bounties almost warning people not to go up into the woods. And there were bounties for like local, whatever they call them again, Ronin, or to kill these creatures because they were harassing and they were stealing people was the other thing they were supposedly doing. And there's another one. It's not a yokai. Well, there's some yokai. I guess they're kind of a broad range of what they look like. But there were these ones that almost look like harpies in this area. And that back in the day, the rumors they would just take people on trails. They would fly down and grab people and fly away with them. It's like fucking Jesus. And, nowadays we're like, oh, show me the evidence of that. It's like, well, we don't have any, I guess, but
we call that the Mothman, don't we? If they just come swooping down and pick people up, maybe?
What the fuck's a Mothman? Well, but I don't know. I mean,
this is American yokai.
It's American. Well, it is though, literally. But that's an example of it. It's these cryptids. I would love to know. It's one of those things. It's like there's so much to know, and I would just love to know the truth of all this. Is it all hallucinations? Is it all bullshit? I'm leaning on that it's not. That there's probably some truth to some of it, and the question is, what is it? My money's on aliens. But that's just where my money always goes. But fucking, we're at the casino. We roll fucking this black every fucking time, right? It's aliens.
Yeah. It is the alien yokai. It is a different kind of alien. You see, these are maybe you know what? I got nothing on that.
Well, again, what kind of alien travels through time and space, dresses up like a monk, sneaks into a teen girl's bedroom, and then sticks his tongue down her throat? Like, what the fuck are the alien perverts that we're dealing with now? Fucking full-blown perverts? Fucking.
Well, I like to think that this was like some failed hybrid experiment, and they just let it go out in the woods, and it's just like it's like an anteater person, and it's just there kind of like sniffing. And then it's just like, because that's how it's sensing the world is through taste. So it's sticking the tongue around going, okay, this is what this person is. Yes, more lucky. More lucky, more information.
But why does it appear in ancient Japanese folklore? That's the thing. That wouldn't match up with a hybrid answer, right? Unless some guy like just fucking a bunch of anteaters in China somewhere, Japan somewhere. For like centuries.
Unless they tried this like several hundred times and they just couldn't get the formula right, and then they fucked off and went back to whatever their planet was.
Oh, you mean like aliens did this? Oh, yeah.
They just come back and they're just like, all right, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth. We can't breed the anteater.
Yeah,
anteaters and the people just don't mix. They're just not compatible. Just look at this creature. It's horrific looking. All right, we're just all right. We lost the bet. We're getting out of here.
Just let him out in the wild and fucking he'll amalgamate with them somehow. They'll take him in, right?
We lost the bet.
Yeah,
we should have picked the monkeys, not the anteaters, to try to breed with. All right, this planet belongs to the Greys now.
Now, there you go. Now look what happens. He's a fucking pervert. He's going hunting around for teen girls and shit. Like, what in the fuck were you doing, bro? Yeah. Anyway, man, that is what it is. Well, GALENTV, I guess it's 11 p.m. now, sir. So
yeah,
I guess that might conclude the SKIZ0 Sunday. But thank you for coming around again. I always enjoy these stories. I think we both
that was a good story to end on.
It's pretty eventful. It's cool. It's all what conjures up in your mind's eye, right? This story about the will-o'-the-wisp in the forest coming through the ball of fire. That's so spooky. Like, that truly just spooks me out. You know, I'll be thinking about that tonight when I take Edgar for a pee. Hopefully, I don't see one in the woods. That would really creep me out.
You go like, that better not be a will-o'-wisp, and then you go, oh, thank God it's a UFO.
Yeah, UFO. That's exactly it.
It's a UFO. Oh my God,
it could be UFO.
I left my phone inside. God damn it.
Yeah, those motherfuckers knew. They knew that I didn't have my phone with me that time, and that's why they came. Yeah, they're watching. They might be watching this even. And if you are, guys, you get a Prime sub. Fucking send it my way. All right. Yeah. Anyway, well, GALENTV, thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me once again on these Sundays.
Hey, listen, it's lots of fun, and everybody who's come around, thank you once again. And listen, stay safe tonight. If this motherfucker comes through your window tonight, all right, just don't put your butt in there. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. All right.
If there's one thing to take away from these, there's a recurring theme here, and that's stay out of the woods.
Stay the fuck out of the woods. All right? Stay out of the woods. That's our advice. And sleep tight. See you later, everybody.
Streaming through the digital night, Jim Bustle, he's guiding the light, unveiling mysteries of the unknown, UFOs in the alien zone. He's a man on a mission, exploring ancient secrets, it's his addiction. Debating, discussing with his loyal crew. Cosmic conversations, unveiling the truth.